The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect those of the Barbers Chat Network, our great partners at H&B Media, or any of our media peers. We're just five idiots who love sports and love to talk shit. If you're offended easily, then this show isn't for you. And for those of you who aren't offended easily, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Remember, it's only entertainment.
So cool.
Triple double hat trick, I know the code too. Ice trade, go for trade, yeah we cold too. Getting paper on these player haters, old news. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold. My agent just said we made 100 flat. Make it back and make it stack this like I'm Steven Jack. Put my rings up in the camera like I needed that. Up in the air and at the rim is where I meet them at.
Before we start the show, we want to thank our sponsors, Pillars. Pillars is the best clothing line in the Chicagoland area. If you're looking for a dope hoodie, a sweatsuit, shirts, shoes, or even stuff for your kids, Pillars is where you should go. You can visit any of their 3 store locations in the Chicagoland area or visit pillarsclub.co and order online. Ladies and gentlemen, man, happy Friday. It is Friday, June 21st, 2024. Man, we are here for another edition of I'm Not Gonna Hold You, man. I am your host, Scott. You know to follow me on all social media platforms, man. That is at Barberchair Scott. You can follow the Barbers Chair Network at Barbers Chair Net on all social media platforms. Follow H&B Media and at H&B Media TV on Twitter and at H&B Media on Instagram, man. You can also get in tune with our sponsors, Pillars. You can go to pillarsclub.co or go to pillars_club on Instagram. I'm going to preferably go to any of their 3 store locations in the Chicagoland area. There's one over there in the West Loop. That is 1167 West Madison Street. There is one in Chicago Ridge Mall, and there's one in Orland Park Mall. And, of course, you can also subscribe to our Patreon, patreon.com/Barbers Chat Network. Get all the exclusive content, man. We have got a pack show for y'all. I won't call this this is season finale, but it's not a finale. It's the finale of the actual 2 episode a week format that we have been doing since the beginning of the NFL season. So we got a packed show for y'all to not really celebrate it, but kind of just go over all the major topics before we move on to more off-season things of that nature, man. So that will begin in 2 weeks. So we're going to take a 2-week break after tonight. That will be July 5th. We will only be on Fridays starting at 6 p.m. Eastern time. It will be same show length, go our usual 2.5 hours. We'll recap everything that's been going on in sports and entertainment in the week. And we'll be doing division breakdowns, whole bunch of cool stuff. And then at the beginning of the NFL season, September 9th to be more specific, we will get back to our twice a week format, y'all. So, yeah, man, we got Pavi joining us in the second hour. We're going to recap the NBA Finals, talk about their potential Boston Celtics dynasty on the way, talk about the Lakers finally hiring JJ Redick as their new head coach, and also we're going to go over what are the top 5 off-season storylines as we get ready to head into the NBA draft, NBA free agency. We got Summer League coming up. What are the 5 things that you need to be looking out for as soon as that all goes on? And in the local hour, Mike, you'll be joining us. We're going to recap that Alex Caruso, Josh Giddey trade that happened last night. What does that mean for the future of the Bulls? Are the Bulls going to be finally doing a full-scale teardown? Rumors of Zach LaVine going to Sacramento. What does that mean for DeMar's contract? We will be talking about all that. Can the Cubs, get one last run in there? They're about 7-8 games out of first place, but it's still not all-star break. Can they make a run to get back into this NL Central race? We'll discuss that. And there's been a little bit of nerd cracking on whether or not Michael Jordan's 1988 Defensive Player of the Year is legitimate or not. We're gonna get into do we care about that or not. So we'll be doing that, and of course we'll be remembering the great Willie Mays later on here in the first hour. Before we get to all that, if you don't want to hear about hip hop, if you don't want to hear about what happened at the Forum 2 nights ago, you might as well just skip the first 45 minutes of the show. That's exactly what the fuck we're gonna be talking about. So I'm gonna bring in my co-host for the day. We've got our Morehouse man, Mr. Dante Miles. You can follow him at October Zone Tay on Twitter. Do not look for him on Instagram; he will find you. And of course, we got the one and only Bang Wamsgans himself, JR Bang. You can follow him at JR Bang on all social media platforms. Courtney's off for 2 weeks, so she'll be back in a couple weeks. I was like, we ain't talking no baseball today, really, outside of remembering the great Willie Mays. So she'll be back on the 5th. Of course, like I said, Mikey be here in the local hour. But how y'all fellas feeling, man?
I'm solid, bro. You see, I got my red on. We had a big day in hip hop. You feel me, my nigga? But no, I'm good, bro. I really can't complain.
Bang, how you feeling? Bang on mute. That's a fine. And fine again. That's you up to $20. There we go.
Yeah. Man, maybe, yeah, my bad. Yeah, but I feel good, man. I'm glad that this week is finally over with. There's been a lot of shit that's going on. I was being banned, Wamsgams. I'm thinking about just changing my name to that shit.
Just change to Bang Wamsgans, yeah.
Bang, or at least just like having an alarm or some shit. Because when we was doing summer sessions, that's when Willie Mays died. I was like, gotta go.
So I would have got a little bit of a situation. Greg, go grab my Greg.
Right, and all of my Gregs was out. Like all of my Gregs was out, so I had to do it. Also, let me make a recommendation right now. For anybody who have not seen this documentary yet, please watch Netflix's "Tell Them You Love Me." That is a very interesting documentary about a man with a non-verbal cerebral palsy, a black man with non-cerebral palsy, who was in a relationship with a white woman, a white professor. She was like his non-verbal verbal thing. I forgot what they called it. But it's
speech therapy?
No, it's like I forgot what they called the position that they do. Is like some type of communication that they communicate through. But I got some questions, and it's like assisted communication. But I got some questions and stuff, and I was probably too ignorant in watching this documentary. I was watching it with my wife, and after a while, I was just like, "Yo, they just got to let dude get some ass." But if you watch
documentaries, that's what documentaries are for, though. You to learn something.
Yeah, right. So yeah, very interesting documentary. I must say it is very recommended, especially if you're ignorant like me.
I would say this: the last 2 documentaries you brothers recommended were amazing. So I'm definitely going to check that out. I'm a documentary nerd. I will watch a documentary on a toaster oven. Okay, like it doesn't matter what it is. If it's produced right, I will watch it. So I'm definitely gonna put that on my to-do list. But let's get into it. I am Dante, you clear the lane out for me. I'm calling ISO real quick. There's a lot of people in these last couple months. First of all, I gotta say this. I've seen too much of this. You know how niggas try to be super cool when I call people like stuff and things like that. Oh, I ain't picking no sides of this beef. Ain't none of these niggas coming to my funeral. Look, man, the Knicks ain't coming to your funeral either, my nigga, but you be ready to fight niggas over them. Okay? The Bears ain't coming to your funeral. Whatever team. If you are a sports fan, I don't want to hear about anything about choosing sides. They don't care about me. You think the Ohio State Buckeyes care about you? You think the Nittany Lions care about you? No, they don't. So I just want to get that out the way there. I did not realize till Wednesday night how much I don't like Drake. It just hit you. I didn't know. Like, I'm not that I didn't like his music. I'm not gonna sit up here and act like I don't like Drake's music. I'm a fan of Drake's music. Everybody, for the most part, has Drake songs that they like. I stopped looking at him as a rapper almost 10 years ago when the original reference joints came out. But I didn't realize that I just don't like this nigga until I was watching the show. And it just like just hit me like a flood. And so to see the whole performance, which I don't personally think it was all about Drake. Drake was a big part of it. And for those of you, we're gonna go behind the curtain here. I'm gonna get my real bang Wams games on. You can't just rent out the Forum in a month. Okay, so they it's not like they called the Forum in beginning of May, like, yeah, we need a next month. No, a concert like this was planned months ahead of time. I just think the Drake part of it was a different aspect with it. I have it on good authority. There is an album coming. I'm not going to say when, but I have it on good authority that there is an album coming. There's also going to be a video shoot tomorrow in Compton. It's probably going to be Not Like Us. I don't know 100%. We just know it's a new song, but if I had a gun in my head, I'd pretty much guess it's going to be Not Like Us.
Bang Wams Gams.
when you know, and I'm gonna clear out this. I just want to get that part off. I didn't really realize how much I didn't like Drake until that happened. Like it just hit me. And then I don't know if it was I forgot who asked me this. I don't know if it was Dante, somebody else. Like, what light skinned niggas do you like besides Steph Curry? And I was like, I thought about it. Steph Curry and then like Chris Brown. That's really about it. Like I just really thought about it. Like, and that's actually kind of crazy. But you would think that I would be with the Drake fan, but I personally just don't like when people the not rapping thing was just crazy. Not writing your own lyrics thing was crazy to me, but you know how you just smell a lame? Like you can just smell a lame. Like a nigga just got money, they try to hide it. And maybe that's something since day one where I always just kind of put me off about his music. And then it just like hit me at a flood. But like Kendrick, what Kendrick did on Wednesday, I felt was a top 2 hip hop moment. And maybe y'all can say I'm overreacting. I don't care what y'all want to say. I have never seen anything like what I've seen on that stage at the Forum, the unity that was on stage. And I was an Angelino or a Los Angeles resident for a decade. I felt something, my nigga. I was texting Bang in the group chat when Bang ain't know who these people was in the first hour of the show.
Shouts out to the Cuzzos.
Shout out to the Cuzzos. Everybody finally got on LA City Girls. You know what I'm saying?
No, you said Compton's TLC.
Compton's TLC. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, Westside Boogie getting his look. You know, Jay Worthy, G Perico, who's been holding it down for a long time. And then Mustard. Mustard is a living legend. Niggas might not want to give Mustard his credit, but he held us down 4 summers. Dom Kennedy. Now, Kendrick, I love Kendrick, but I got on Kendrick and Dom around the same time. But to see Dom and on that stage get the love from that crowd because he's really a hometown hero. People love Dom. Probably anywhere else in America, you wouldn't have had the crowd who knew When I Come Around word for word. But in LA, having the crowd rap When I Come Around word for word, my type of party, it was just great to see Dom get that love. And to see, even though Blast sounded like he smoked 5 packs of Newports ahead of time, it was good to see him get the he sounded like he drank a 5th of Henny before he went on stage. He tweeted later he didn't have his tea before the show. I'm like, well, obviously, nigga, but I'm a big fan of Blast.
Yeah, nigga had something before the show.
Yeah, right. My man Bishop Dollar Sign. I met Ty Dolla $ign and DJ Mustard about like 7 years ago when the Campaign album came out, and they had like a listening party, like a listening event at the shoe store over on Wilshire Boulevard. And I met Ty Dolla $ign. I told him, like, man, I've been a fan of yours since woo woo woo. And I was like talking to him about the album. I still got the picture. I wish I wish we had our production value to the point where I could have put the picture on there. I actually just forgot about it, but I have a picture with me and Ty Dolla $ign, and like I was bringing out points of the album that I love, like different parts about the actual music, and this nigga was like in awe, like, oh yeah, I did this. Like it wasn't like oh thank you, man. We was having an actual conversation about the music. We had an actual conversation about the music. People don't know Ty Dolla $ign been in this game forever, bro. He going back to Immature. He taught Mustard how to, make beats, and to see Ty go out there, his dad. Bang, when you say I'm finna play Free TC all week, I'm finna play Free TC again. Classic album, Miracle is a gospel track. You know what I'm saying? Like
I told Ty Dolla $ign to his face.
Your mic a little low, dog.
Oh, it is. Well,
Yeah.
I came.
There we go.
There we go. I came to DC. Well, when he came to DC, I told him that Free TC is an American classic. It is one of the greatest bodies of work ever, and I stand on that. I randomly sing "Horses in the Stable," like because it is a very soulful song. Miracle,
Miracle.
look, that whole album, and I was happy to let him know that shit.
Yeah, and like that was like it's cool when you see people like it wasn't just one of those cool fan things. We had a good talk about the music, and so to see even though his microphone wasn't really working, Paranoid, classic song that blew him up. That was love to see that. Roddy Ricch, who was a casualty of the pandemic. I think a lot of people forgot how big that album was. A lot of people forgot how big the box was. I remember me and Pavi being at this party for one of my homies' wife's birthday party, and when we was at it was this club in Hollywood called the Jordan. I don't think it survived the pandemic, but it felt like a conqueror hit the town when the box came on. Like to see him get that love. I saw somebody say, I thought he's from Atlanta. The niggas from Compton. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was getting a lot of love. And then YG, my nigga YG, who was one of the people on the forefront of this New West movement, go up there and get the love. When BPT hit,
him and Mustard,
him and LeBron want to throw up sets. There's a video of LeBron like losing it when BPT came on, going through all the hits, playing "Who Do You Love," and then Mustard intentionally cutting it off right before Drake's verse. That was great. And then Tooted and Booted, which is an American classic, no matter how much you want to deny it. That was amazing. I'm trying to think, did I miss anybody else from us? Oh, Tyler, bruh. Tyler got a sting in 1997.
Just he got the Triple H after the quad pop.
Yeah, right. Triple H after the quad pop. And I think he got the Loud Pop gang members.
Hell no.
And Tyler and Odd Future are just as much as important to LA culture as rest. Steve Lacy. People forget just because he killed the charts with that Bad Habit. He's from Compton. He got love. And then, bang, I should have bet lotto numbers. What did I say on this show for the last 2 weeks? The man was going to start with Euphoria. I said it for 2 weeks. I'm 2 for 2 because even though Usher only played 6 bars of it, I said my way was going to start the Super Bowl too. But
no, we caught a lot of that shit because in terms of the diss records that got played, we said he was going to do his version like that. I said he was going to do 616 in LA, and he did that shit. I didn't think he was going to do it.
He did that, yeah.
It was great.
That means the sample cleared.
You think that's what it means?
Or they wouldn't have performed. They wouldn't have performed that.
So
they
does
could
that
have performed it if the sample wasn't clear.
Does that mean bonus track on the album? I'm thinking about that because it ain't been released on streaming yet. But to see that and then to go into the Black Hippie reunion, J Rock, and I'm gonna finish my rant. I'm gonna let y'all get y'all point off. I just want to I told Dante I was gonna get my Fun Flex on in this first there, even though Fun Flex need to go take his old ass to bed because he saw, like you said, Dante, he saw the West Coast getting too much love, and this nigga started having Tupac flashbacks.
He was just saying dumb shit. He's like, bro, shut up. Like, this ain't your moment, nigga. Shut up.
This ain't your moment. You know what I'm saying? Tell New York to make a bigger record. But anyway, you had J Rock come out there, and I love New York. I don't want no beef. I'm just saying. I'm on my West Coast stuff right now. But J Rock, one of the founders of TDE, one of the guys who started. People forget J Rock was first. I remember when J Rock's one of his first songs dropped, like on 2009. Before a lot of people really know who Kendrick really was, and also a lot of people know Wednesday was the 20th anniversary of TDE. See Top Dog in the crowd. Top Dog doesn't get the love that he's supposed to get. He doesn't get the love that you see these other rap moguls get. Bringing Solo out, and having Solo there when he's rapping 616 in LA word for word, and then the People's Champion, Schoolboy Q coming out, them doing all that, and you just had all of them together. I started going back to my late college, end of college days when thinking about these records, and then exactly. Shout out to Miles in the chat. Said Kendrick used to be J Rock's hype man. Kendrick used to open up for Dom Kennedy. Like these are big moments right here, and then you have, after that. Dr. Dre. Like I knew either Dre or Snoop was gonna be there because it was the Gin and Juice was sponsoring and Kendrick and Friends. I knew it was gonna be one of them. And I know a lot of people weren't happy about Dr. Dre being on there for extracurricular reasons. And I'm not saying you're wrong in the way you think that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna really get into that, but at the same time, I don't believe you can, have a West Coast thing without having it with the guy who we wouldn't have a West Coast hip hop without Dr. Dre. It just really is what it is. Go back to NWA and have that. And to have him introduce Not Like Us and say, I see dead people was crazy. Dre telling, I don't care about my political connects, nigga. This is Compton. You know what I'm saying? That he says, God damn it. Hey man, 10 years. I'm 10 years, bro. That's my second home, bro. I'm speaking with love here, But I feel like, that moment right there. And then I kind of knew when he did Not Like Us so early, he's going to do this song multiple times. Because if you looked at the set list, I was like, you can't go to another song after that. It's way too early for the set to be ending. I kind of knew he was going to do it that many times. And to have everybody on stage, Russell Westbrook, MVP of the night, DeMar DeRozan, Real Compton with the Eazy-E shirt. And the most important thing here, and I'm going to give it off the bang right there because I could rant about this all night. It was only LA. I was speculating, is he going to bring Rihanna out? He going to bring Beyonce out? He going to bring Future out? He did like that by himself. You know what I'm saying? And Future wasn't there. Weeknd was in the crowd. Rosé's in the crowd. SZA's in the crowd. Baby Keem's his own cousin, but he grew up in Vegas. He's in the crowd. This is all about LA. That's why
Ross and Weeknd was there.
Ross and Weeknd was there. Ross was in the crowd with James Harden, which I'm actually James Harden didn't get on stage because Harden's LA, but he was sitting next to James Harden. SZA was in the crowd, and Weeknd.
Harden didn't go up there because of Houston. He still goes to Houston a lot.
He still goes to Houston. He won. Okay, and then Houston ain't gonna fight nobody over no Drake. But anyway, that's a whole nother thing about that. But he also, what do you say, Dante?
Oh, JR did the point. They will press his ass. Like,
okay,
let's be clear. Let's be clear.
I forgot about that. But yeah, and then you had Weeknd was with Hit Boy and Big Hit. So he was over there. SZA was over there. I was laughing like when he told his own cousin, Akeem ain't coming out. He could have blew the top off with Family Tie. You grew up in Vegas, my nigga. You gonna sit this one out. I love you, but you gonna sit this one out. That's what I loved about it. And it was a cultural moment. It was a great moment for hip hop. I haven't felt that way. Take away the Drake whatever. Put that to the side for a moment. As just a hip hop head, that was beautiful to see. And if you spent any time in Los Angeles, you know the gang culture there. A lot of these niggas can't even be on the same block with each other. And to have them all on the same stage showing love. And then the backstage video that Complex did where all of them are showing love to Kendrick. And Drake said, you can't even go back to your crib and spread money trees. Nigga, he put niggas on. That's what people do. And it showed that the definition of Not Like Us. Like, this is culture. This is hip hop. You know what I'm saying? This is what it was about. So I had an out of body experience. I got 3 hours of sleep that night. I was too, I was too turned up. You know what I'm saying? One of them nights would feel like you actually went to a concert. It was one of them. It was just a good night. And shout out to Amazon. They pulled out Thursday Night Football cameras, man. They went crazy on the production. So I know my rant was like 15 minutes. So I'm gonna give it to Bang, man. What's your thoughts on the pop out and everything you saw with it?
If you listen to some dude this week, and if you listen to Summer Sessions, I said that this could be his Motown 25 moment. It has to be his Motown 25 moment. If people don't know what I mean by that, Motown 25 is where Michael Jackson popped up with the Moonwalker for the very first time on television. And it was a culture-moving moment that happened that night. That's what Kendrick had to do. And I believe that's what it was. Like, I'm not hot taking. I don't do all of that unless I'm telling you I'm going to do it. I'm not hot taking here. That was my favorite hip hop moment. And the reason why is because we don't have that many when you think about it. Like, a lot of our hip hop moments revolve around death. But to see what I saw is what I would love to see more when it just comes to hip hop. Like, how come New York couldn't do something like that? How come the crib couldn't do something like that?
I got an answer for that if you want it.
I mean, I know the answer.
Okay,
I'm just saying hypothetically.
Okay, right.
I'm saying hypothetically, why like they can't do nothing like that. I saw Merck comment on Twitter, I think it was, where it just felt like Merck was like, yeah, we need something like this here in Chicago. Atlanta, well, Birthday Bash, if you're in Atlanta, or if you will be in Atlanta, if tickets are still available, go to Birthday Bash tomorrow at the State Farm Arena. It ain't gonna be, well, I ain't gonna say it ain't gonna, well, nah, it ain't gonna be quite like Kendrick, because that was a culture built moment built with disses and shit. But Lotto, according to what I've heard, Lotto and Killer Mike have some surprises for you all tomorrow. So Birthday Bash could be something like what Kendrick did, because you do see a lot of Atlantic-centric artists on there. And what I mean by that is, from what you said, the beginning of the show to the end of the show, it was LA. The show started off with niggas I did not know. I told Scott, make me a playlist.
I told niggas,
I don't know.
Not to cut you, I told niggas, if you never been to Tam's Burgers, I don't want to hear your opinion on this tonight. When niggas talking about they want to hear, if niggas like, I don't want to hear these, I'm like, you never been to Tam's Burgers, shut your mouth.
Yeah, so and you know what? Some of them niggas I enjoyed. Actually, shouts out to my man Chase. One of my employees, he's in Indianapolis. He made a little playlist of all of the people who performed on there. So I was able to listen to like the Cuzzos and some of them niggas I knew. I was like, I just didn't know that was that person, but I know the song. So thinking about all of these folks from LA and the Jay Worthy nigga, anytime I hear a West Coast song that start off with the I think somebody's gonna die. Let me just say this. I think it's because of Boys in the Hood and Menace to Society. But anytime I hear a song start off like Jay Worthy and the Whoops, somebody's getting shot. That's just me. Just throwing it out there. I got a little bit nervous when them niggas came on stage. But I like their music though. And then you go to Mustard and bringing in all of those other people that...
Daddy, I want to play golf and then...
You gonna play golf?
Yes.
All right, cool. Trey want to play. Landon want to play golf. Then you have all of those other people.
Daddy, I'm in a minute, okay?
Okay.
He said, "No, I'm for real. I'm playing golf, nigga."
He said, "No, and I'll talk to you in a minute, okay?" He did. He hit me like this. I love my son.
That's my kind of brother right there.
Yeah, he hit me like, "Yo, I'll be back in a minute." But no, then you get to the Mustard set, and like you said, Mustard is a legend. But Tyler, the Pop Tyler guy, oh my goodness, is Triple H in Madison Square Garden. And then just the end of the night with Kendrick and him having on the same, damn near the same outfit Pac had. So he rapping the change of the lyric, saying, if you give me that ring, I might change my mind. To me, my favorite performance.
He got to consider it. He got to consider it.
That. To me, my favorite performance was 616. That was I didn't expect that song to get played because I was like, is the sample cleared? But then, yeah, because they couldn't play that song. But him with Absol and them spitting it like the way they did, that was my favorite part. That's when I was like, all right, let's go. Now we're cooking with gas. But yeah, I think it was a culture moving moment. I'm not hot taking because I can't think of any positive hip hop moments that I really fuck with heavily. The first ones that come to mind always involve some bullshit. I stole a Rockaware outfit from UPS when I was working there. Came outside, DJ Ferris played Takeover on 92.3. I remember when I first heard Life After Death, courtesy of DJ Ferris. There's other moments and stuff like buying Wu-Tang Forever and all of those stuffs. And there's other moments, but there's not a moment for me quite like what I saw. So shouts out to Kendrick. I'm eagerly anticipating the album and seeing how that's going to sound. Is it going to be more like what we was hearing? Like what is Kendrick off of TDE sounds like? I can't wait for that. But also, I can't wait to this group of LA acts to come out and do that thing, because for the most part of what I heard, I really liked what I heard. So it was a good chance. It was a good time for them to put them into a national audience. So we'll see what happens.
Long live regional rap, by the way. And Orlando said, too bad Future didn't show up. I don't think Future was invited. Not to say that he's blocked, obviously, but this is all LA tonight.
Yeah, no,
Go
I
ahead,
think
Dante.
that what that concert did was really drive home what he was saying. This entire beef was about the culture and about how hip hop, this shit really means something. And it's important for us to be gatekeepers and not let people just do whatever they want to do. And he showed you that with the show, like you said, with it being all West Coast, and like you could tell by the reaction of the crowd when every artist came out that they was something in LA. Like if you didn't know them or you didn't hear them before, they were people that get play out there in LA. And so that was really dope. I love the Black Hippie reunion. That J Rock, like you said, J Rock was really the one who started a lot of this shit. Like, if you really been paying attention and really been rocking with TD since it started, J Rock was one of the first ones. So him having his moment, Absol coming out, Absol has the issue with his eyes. So having Kendrick walk him up and down the stage while everybody was doing their thing was dope. And
Real
Schoolboy
friends.
Q, bro, right? Real homies. And Schoolboy Q, we always talk about how he deserves his flowers. Him getting to come out, do his thing, everything he been through, he damn near stopped doing music after he lost Mac Miller. So for him to come back and still be out there doing this thing, it was dope to see that reunion. Shout out to the blog era. We talk about that. A lot of great music, a lot of great creativity happened during that time. And seeing this right after we just saw Chief Keef come back to Chicago. Obviously this moment I think goes down as a bigger moment in hip hop because of everything that is surrounding it with the beef and everything. And this was Kendrick really planting his flag to let them know, I'm not the one to be fucked with. And like we said, we predicted a lot of this shit. And I was so glad when the 616 started up.
Yeah,
because I was like, yeah, no, we're going real negative today. Like it's not gonna be just
man.
okay. I'm gonna do a couple songs. We're going for it. We're going for it. And he went there. He took it there and like ending it with the 5 in a row. That was man.
And then basically a replication of the September Butterfly cover. What kind of all the stuff that does is intentional. You know what I'm saying? Like people said that Complex was reaching about the Tupac. No, he was not. It's very clear that he and the West Coast take the Tupac AI thing very seriously. That's why I feel like a lot of this kind of, and he said himself, we're not gonna let some outsider, some Canadian nigga disrespect our legends. He said this. So when have you ever seen Kendrick wear jewelry? And of course, Ben Ball announced that he paid $600,000 for that. I made that. He doesn't wear jewelry. He came out dressed like Pavi going to Starbucks like that. That he had the classic Pavi fit of the hoodie and jeans. About a double take, I'm all look at Pavi on stage. Like, but he had that, and then like the red symbolizing. The Tupac 94. Also, the nigga grew up around Pyrus. You know what I'm saying? That and another thing, if you want to know if it wasn't forced, the hoodie was a Death Row hoodie. By the way, the hoodie was from Snoop's Death Row line. So all this stuff is intentional, bro. And then I know a lot of people was like, "Oh, he was doing the Lil Mouse money dance." No, he was not. That was the Hotline Bling dance. Gee, he was trolling him.
Yes, let's be clear. That was not. I love how we like to slide ourselves.
Yeah, I love how we like to slide.
No,
that's not what we got. Chicago roots. It's folks from the Robert Taylor homes. I love, but he was thinking of the Hotline Bling dance when the A minor and he was doing that. It's all intentional, bro. But the thing I want to ask y'all next is this: is like the question to me now is, and what does Drake do from here? Because I don't think that. He got Ja Rule. I don't really like that because if you really think about what happened with Ja Rule and 50, 50 really didn't do nothing but close the casket. The feds were on Murder Inc. and Ja Rule's album sales were decreasing. I think the Last Temptation was the lowest selling album in his peak run. So if anything, 50 just closed the casket. I think in the grand scheme of things, the bottom line, Drake will be fine. Drake has been putting out hit records for 15 years. There's a lot of people who were 12, 13 years old when he was putting out hits. When So Far Gone came out, I wasn't even 21 yet. I was 20 going on 21. So he has a lot of things. And even jokes aside, I don't consider Drake a culture vulture. We make jokes, and that's fine. It's a beef. I'm not trying to police beef here. You say what sounds funny. You know what I'm saying? 100%. Like, I didn't see Jay-Z in a Tybo class. Maybe he was. I didn't see him in there, but it sounds funny. So it don't matter. But I think Drake has paid homage to hip-hop. He's obviously a hip-hop head. But I feel that first, if I was him, and he's not going to do this, from what it sounds like, he has 2 songs that he'll be dropping soon. If I was his people, I would tell him, you need to sit this sum out, because I feel unless it's just an undeniable banger, it's not going to be received well, especially coming off his last 3 projects, which critically were clowned. Like, he's going to do the numbers. I wouldn't be surprised if his next album is his highest streamed album, just because we want to see what he's going to say next. But I feel like the respect level, especially on the rap level, is gone. And I know that probably burns him the most. I mean, the weatherman was doing the weather to the Not Like Us beat. You can't escape this. Somebody in Harlem on Wednesday did a jazz version of Not Like Us. And I think that was a perfect response to the bot thing that came out. And anybody who knows anything about the music industry, everybody uses bots, by the way. And then they have the crowd rap word for word. It was 20,000 bots in there. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like it was a masterclass. And if I was Drake, I'd take a little time and have people forget and just get back to my hit making records. I don't feel that. I feel like if he has a chance right here. He's either gonna, or as Pappy said, there's only one way through, and that's to go through it. You just gotta. I took my L. I'm gonna get back to making my hits, and people will embrace you because a lot of his fans don't care. A lot of his fans don't care. They have a core fan base. They're gonna listen to whatever you want to say, and he'll be fine. He can do tours and things like that. But if he crashes out, this can get bad. So I'm really interested to see what the reaction is going to be to those records. Bane, what do you think? Of course, you know more from the radio side. What do you think the reaction is going to be to Drake? Or do you think that Drake's in a bad spot, or we're just making too much of a big deal of it because we're in a moment?
Drake's not in a bad spot. Drake gonna be all right, fam. Like, Drake gonna be all right because he's still a cash cow. Now, I say that with a but. He can't. The next track can't be whack. It has to be a banger. Cause now we're in a. So, this is our show. I'll say exactly how I feel. I believe that a lot of people tolerated Drake's last couple of projects. I do. Was it a couple of songs on there? Yeah, but like it was tolerable. So because it was tolerable, right? I believe that now Drake is in a position where he can't half-ass. Drake could give you some shit that you could put in an Instagram caption or on Twitter, and that'd be shit, your shit for the week. Girl put up a swipe full of pictures with a Drake caption, a Drake song, boom. Kendrick did that though. And he did it aimed towards Drake. So Drake can't come with an Instagram caption song that's going to get people, riled up, stuff like that. No, he has to get back to old music Drake and really put something out there that's going to be nice. But because here's something that I don't know if y'all noticed, because I just noticed this week. A lot of people have been talking about how the clubs are whack now. A lot of people. A lot of people have been talking about how you go up in the club and the club scene was changed when bottle service came in sections and all of that stuff. And nobody dance when they go to clubs. Nobody actually kick it and have fun and all of that stuff. Is the tide changing to that? I don't go to the club necessarily to say yes or no to that. But what it sounds like to me when people hear this is that people want to dance and have a good time. If Drake gives you a song that's going to make you dance and have a good time, it's going to be okay. If he gives you some captions and stuff with it too, he's going to be okay. Just like Jay-Z was okay. After he lost the battle to Nas, he was okay. He was like, all right, let's move on. But Jay didn't drop terrible shit. Now, we could talk all day about Kingdom Come.
I mean, Blueprint 2 is debatable.
I like Blueprint 2.
It wasn't terrible.
One CD.
It's not terrible, but it was me. If it was condensed to one disc,
right.
It's a fine
when they
album.
did the 1.5, I said, niggas, y'all should have did this first.
Right.
When they did 1.5, I said, nigga, 1.5 should have been Blueprint 2. But he gave you enough in the body of work where you was like, all right, cool, bet. He didn't drop a dud. As long as Drake don't drop a dud, he's straight. But if he do, ooh.
Can I ask you a question, Ben? From your
Yeah.
very respected opinion, if let's just say Drake decides to crash out, he doesn't look like he takes losses well. He decides to.
Like,
Now I'm not. He's gonna
take
always throw
cocaine?
shots. I think both of them will take shots, but
Oh, when you say crash out, I thought you was about to say he got to go get high or some shit.
no, I mean like do some stupid shit, like put out another diss. Where do you, what? I feel like Kendrick. I feel like Kendrick will be foaming from the mouth because he has more.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Let it alone. Leave it be. Take your L. Move on. Give us some shit to groove to. We all right. If he says, man, if he say one thing about that man, yo, he dropping nukes. He dropping nukes. So yeah, Drake better leave that shit alone.
Dante, what you think, man?
That's why I say I disagree 100%. I think it's not over for Drake, but it'll never be the same. Never be the same. This is a different type of L. And the
it'll never be the same. It'll never be the same.
Like,
let me just say that. I agree with you.
The invincibility is gone.
That's done. The stench of this L, especially when we just gloss over this, but the number one song in the country was calling this man a fucking pedophile. Like it's not just a regular song. It's not the fact that it's just a diss record. It's what's being said in this diss record. And his reaction to the diss record was, "Come on, y'all. You know I'm too famous to fuck kids." Like it,
which is
like,
wild.
That shit holds, which is wild as fuck. Like that holds weight in this conversation. And so you saw Grippy was ass. The Hater Delilah remix was terrible. So like he put some fillers out there, and he's gotten some negative reactions from the last couple songs he put out. Well, really last three, because I want to say the Heart Part 6 got over 1 million dislikes. Like that's the first time for any Drake record that he's ever put out on YouTube. And so the tide has really changed. And so now it's not even just coming back with a banger, because we know he can make the music. But when people's attitudes towards you have changed this much, G, we keep comparing it to the whole thing, but he not Hove. Like, and he's never had that same sense of respect that Hove got even in that loss. Like Hove was still Hove after that loss. People are looking at Drake different now. So like I think he'll still be able to make music, but I don't think he'll ever be mentioned in the greatest conversation again. Like that shit sounds good, but you can forget that. That's not gonna happen. But you got like we said, Bang, we was joking about it. You had little kids about 8-9 years old rapping this song word for word. Like, and this is a song directed at the biggest artist in the world. Like this shit different. We haven't seen nothing like this, and that's what made the concert even more spectacular. Because it's like, yo, this is a stadium full of people rapping this shit word for word at the top of their lungs. Every diss track that was aimed again at the number one artist by many considered in the world, numbers wise, number one artist in the world. So like I disagree. I think it'll never be the same. I'm interested to see when the dust finally settles, what artists and what athletes and things like that are seen with them, because you saw how motherfuckers was on that stage. Like I don't think he's gonna step foot in California for a very long time. I don't see the purpose of that. So I think this is definitely gonna affect him. It's definitely gonna be interesting to see how he moves, because he's gonna have to be very strategic. And what we've seen from this beef is he's not strategic at all. Like he's not good at that. That's not his strong suit. So I really want to see where they go with this.
So
And
real quick, Dante, you're right. Which is why I had said, like, yo, he can't miss. Like, the thing is when it comes to great artists, they could throw out some shit, and sometimes people, that's how great of an artist you are. When you could throw out some shit and somebody would be like, but that nigga did give us Thriller, right? No, like Michael Jackson could throw out some shit and niggas would be like, yeah, but he gave us Bad. He gave us Off the Wall. But this shit here, he don't have that luxury. That's the change. He does not have, I don't believe that he has the luxury of putting out something half-assed, because like I said, I think that he's been putting out half-assed work these last couple of projects. He don't have that luxury because that invincibility is now gone. So he got to come out and he got to give us some A-quality shit. Using the Jay-Z shit for an example, if Blueprint 2 was as bad as some people make it out to be, which is not, but if it was bad, Jay-Z would be done. It wasn't. It was a decent album, and if you put the 1.5, it's a classic album to me. But with that double disc, he had enough songs on that body of work to be like, all right, man, Hov still out here.
He had enough
Ja
cultural
Rule,
credit. Enough cultural credit.
along with the cultural credit.
Yeah.
But the cultural credit, he took a hit too when Nas did what he did. No matter how we feel about who won and stuff like that, when Jay-Z took that hit, he lost. He had to dust himself off, train, and try to get my win back. Using boxing for an example, Evander Holyfield lost his first match against Riddick Bowe. Both of them was undefeated. And folks was looking at Evander Holyfield like, yo, he washed. It's time for him to retire and all of that. He came back and he whooped the shit out of Riddick Bowe's ass. And the dude flew in the goddamn ring too. That's what Blueprint 2 was. Not necessarily whooping his ass, but I got that win. And then Kingdom Come came and it was like, oh shit. But then he came back with American Gangster. He has to come out and kill it. And I see Donnie's what's the name is joined about Drake isn't a great live performer. You know who also is not a great live performer? Sean Carter.
Okay, let's relax.
Hear me out.
He's not. But I'm just offended him. Go ahead.
No. I feel you, but hear me out. Most rappers are not great live performers. Like most rappers are not great live performers. It's the music that gravitates to it. I'm not watching Jay-Z on stage to be like, yo, this nigga's doing a great job on stage. That's what singers and rock stars and shit for. But if your ass run around and and the music is also good with it, and you ain't rapping with no back vocals, you get the benefit of the doubt from me. So Drake has to come out and he gotta really put forth a project or at least some songs that are nice. He can't be like, yo, let me go try some Hey Guan Delilah. He can't do none of that shit no more. He can't just do some shit and just throw it up in the air and motherfuckers be like, yeah, that's Drake just trying to expand his musical horizons. No. At this point, I can tell you out of everything that I just said, I can sum it up with this. Drake ass got a rap.
I got counter. I got counter, bro. I don't think he need to. Go back to them singing, nigga. Go to the singing. I personally, this is just me. Like I said, this is me. I don't speak for the general public. I speak for Scott Lewis. I don't want to hear that nigga any more bass in his voice. You go to your Romeo Santos records.
Oh, because you don't like him. That's why.
You go to them. I don't want to hear you talk tough. I don't want to hear none of that.
Oh, he ain't got to talk tough. He just got to rap.
But that's what he do.
No, he shouldn't talk tough. He shouldn't talk tough.
That's why.
And like I say this, because I've been a Drake fan since the beginning. But like sometimes it really just takes you going back and listening to the old records. Like, don't get me wrong, rappers evolve, they switch styles, they do everything like that. But when you look at how he used to talk compared to how he talks now, it's like, come on, my nigga. There was a shift in the way that he speaks and the certain things he says he's gonna do and spraying blocks and airing shit out.
Hey, Scott, what did you say? What's the quote that you've been using a lot on the show about Icarus?
About who?
Flew too high to the sun.
Flew too high to the sun. Flew too close to the sun.
That's it.
If you listen to Mob Ties, he talking like he Christopher Moltisanti. Stop it. I don't want to hear it.
It got to a point where he thought he was untouchable. And that's when shit changed. When a motherfucker think they untouchable and when it comes to this music shit, niggas just gonna say what the fuck they want to say and do what they want to do. His ass flew too close to the sun. His ass got burnt. But he can still fly. He can still be out here doing this thing. He just got to know and understand he can't be Tommy Tough Talk. We just got to rap. If Drake just raps, he's good. When he start doing this extra shit about how he gonna fuck somebody up, but won't, as Kendrick Perkins would say, bust a grape in a fruit fight, we know he's not gonna bust a grape now. So the same thing applies to J. Cole. We don't want to hear none of that, how you the GOAT, or you the young GOAT, you the great. No, we don't hear none of that shit no more. Just rap.
Is Schoolboy Q friend of the year for telling Jermaine that you don't need to do this?
You don't need to get into this.
Yeah.
Is Jermaine friend of the year? That's what I want to know. But
that's what friends are for.
That's what friends are for. Just to wrap this up, and then we're gonna talk about Willie Mays, man, and then we're gonna talk about basketball in hour 2 with Pavi. Will
Now
be joining
we
us.
go back to this Drake shit. Nobody want to talk them fucking boys.
We will have more. Look, I talk about Drake and Kendrick next 2 hours. Honestly, like, yeah, like for real, like that. No, but you right, Orlando. Yeah, go give me honestly. Never mind too. Like that's the best. I don't speak for America. I speak for Scott Lewis. I don't want to hear that Canadian rap again in my life. Sing, nigga. Sing. That's what I want to hear. Your rapping privileges are done. What Money Mitch? No, what no Rico San Payton for? No rice, no champagne, no nothing. None of that, dog. I'm done. I don't want to hear it. But
It's gonna be tough.
It's good. That's what I'm saying. And that's why I say I hope he takes a break because man, even if it's good, I feel like right now the battle is still in the heat of the battle, like not between Kendrick and him, but with the fans. They're gonna, even if it's good, they're gonna destroy it if he drops it like before Labor Day, in my opinion. If him,
I'll throw this out here, Scott. Yeah, not only I do agree with you, but here's the cat. I mentioned this before, so I'll mention it again. It also says that Kendrick's next album, whatever he releases next month, need to be nice. Because if that shit, now the bar is so high for Kendrick. It is so high. This is, without the album sales, this is his Thriller moment. I said this is Motown 25 for him. This is Michael Jackson Thriller. Now that Thriller is here, this is Thriller and Bad for him. Not like us and this whole shit with the disc was this Thriller time. Now he got to come out there and give us Bad. If that album,
I feel like, go ahead.
If he releases this album, and this album, even though I like the album, if this album is received like Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, then Drake can come right up in there.
He can't put out a Mr. Morale. I agree. He can't drop a Mr. Morale album. Even though I like Mr. Morale, I think it's the weakest of his. Well, how many studio albums he got? 4 studio albums.
It's still damn to me. But go ahead.
No, we're not gonna get into Kendrick's greatest album.
If anything, he needs to release a damn. Like
he needs to release a damn
right now.
He needs to release a damn.
Perfect right now.
You need to release a damn. Damn.
Give me Good Kid, Mad City 2 then, because I don't want to hear damn.
You don't get that.
You're not gonna get. My take is Good Kid, Mad City moment is better than Good Kid, Mad City the album, but that's a whole nother podcast. And I'm a Kendrick stan. The damn to me.
I'm gonna be even though I love Kendrick, I'm gonna always be the damn hater.
I must call Mr. Morale to me is my it's my for Jay-Z. Mr. Morale is like Jay-Z's 444 to me. Like it's a really good album, but you're not
Outkast Out of Wild is what I could compare. Like this is Outkast, and I like Out of Wild, so just so y'all know.
But you are correct, man. He has people eyes on him that are not just his core fans. So the songs that they liked, he needs to match that energy. And going by the bravado and the aura he's in right now, I think he's gonna bring that. I don't think we're gonna be hearing any Mother Eye Sobers on this album. That's just my personal guess.
Now,
I don't know.
Now, if that happens, if Kendrick matches this energy, I'll say it like this. If Kendrick matches this energy with Not Like Us and the diss and stuff with this album, I'll say it right now. Drake's done.
Okay.
Now that's when Drake is done. That because now the nigga who just killed you just gave you that. It's like Nas and Illmatic. Stillmatic. Nas gave us Stillmatic after doing what he did. And that brought Nas up to another level.
I don't like Stillmatic, but I'm also a Nas hater.
I'm right. I'm not the biggest.
And I also have personal vendetta with Stillmatic because actually it's not on Still, but it was an album after. I had to sing I Know I Can at my 8th grade graduation.
Oh yeah, you got a vendetta. Anybody that knows me,
I got a vendetta. My beef with Nas is like your beef with Keith Sweat, and I never even met Nas.
Hey, look, I am not the biggest Nas fan either, but I know what Ether did for Stillmatic. So because of that, I know what this situation here can do for Kendrick, but I might not have been the biggest fan of it, but Stillmatic to a lot of people is a classic album. To some people, is a classic album because of what happened with Jay-Z. I
Made You
think
Look is an
I'm one of
amazing
those
record,
people.
though. I
Huh?
cannot tell that. Made You Look is an amazing record.
Oh yes,
It's an
yes.
amazing
But
record. I'm
some
sorry.
so some people will say that. Other people will be like, man, just listen to the album. It's a real dope ass album and it's good that happens. So Kendrick has to come out with an album that's going to solidify things. And that is what will be the nail in the coffin. If he comes out and the album is not as good as what we've been listening to, then Drake can still come up in there and give us some shit for the summer and make us forget about Kendrick because the album's not good. So this is not over.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong whatsoever. There is a chance here, but if I know Mr. Duckworth's history, I'm not really worried about it. It's like me saying, "Are you worried that Barry Bonds is gonna knock in those runners on second and third?" I'm not. He's gonna get at least one in. That's just how I am with that. But let's move on to our last topic here in the first hour. Then we're gonna pivot to the NBA. Gonna recap the NBA finals that happened on Monday. Pavi will be joining us in about 5 minutes. I just want to say rest in peace, man, to the legend himself, the Say Hey Kid, Mr. Willie Mays. If you listened to this last episode of Summer Sessions on the Patreon, you know it broke in the middle of the pod, man. Willie Mays, I think it's a hard time to really explain to younger people, honestly, even people of my generation, some people, just how big of an impact Willie Mays had. I mean, coming off what Reggie Jackson said last night at the Negro League Classic they had, where he talked about his run-ins with racism and how everybody, and he retired what in like 87, so he's still after Willie Mays. You can only imagine the stuff that Willie Mays went through, man. I put a picture on my Instagram, very iconic picture that I would love to get framed with him. It had a Roberto Clemente and it had Hank Aaron. Like these were all guys in the era, and he was a 16-year-old kid, in these Negro leagues, and he's getting the ball thrown at him by Satchel Paige, and he's hitting it out the park. Just the legacy that he had. I mean, look at these stats, man. It's ridiculous. He averaged, bat 301 for his career. He had 3,293 hits, 660 home runs, 1,909 runs batted in, 339 stolen bases. He was a 24-time All-Star. Think about how crazy that is. 24-time All-Star from 1954 to 1973. He did all that. World Series champion in 1954, a 2-time National League MVP, National League Rookie of the Year in 1951. And then they also have, 12-time Gold Glover, like the Roberto Clemente Award winner. He was the National League batting champion in 1954.
How are you a 24-time All-Star and played 22 years?
That's nigga. Bro, exactly. That's what I was looking at. I was like, my math off, but that's what it said. 24-time All-Star. 4-time home run leader in the NL. 4-time stolen base leader in the NL. He hit 4 home runs in one game in 1961. His jersey retired with the Mets and with the San Francisco Giants. Man, just an incredible legacy. We're starting to see a lot of our legends in just sports in general been down. We talked about Jerry West last week, but this is just a very important for what he did, not only for the game of baseball, but also for what he did for black baseball. I mean, he played for the Birmingham Black Barons in the Negro League back in 1948. So to see all this, he was a walking legend running around. He lived a nice long life. He was 93 years old. I mean, that's a great life. And just want to send love and support out to his family, man, and just everything he did. And, he was, I remember seeing Willie Mays from the stuff that, my parents would tell him about, and also just him being, Barry Bonds' godfather. You always see him at the park with Barry and things like that. So, just much respect to Willie Mays, man. I'm gonna go to Dante first, man. You are on. You're our baseball.
No, real quick,
Go
I want to go first because
okay.
I think Dante will be better at putting this together. I just want to say one thing, that it's tough seeing our legends go.
Yeah.
It just lets me know that I'm getting older. It's tough seeing that, even though 93 years old is a full life. but it's tough. And I think we're probably just gonna see this more often. I did not even realize how much of a legend that Willie Mays was, even in death. And I know all of those stats, but I'm just talking about how massive. I was listening to the radio and they was talking about how they feel like sports radio really was born. So basically, what we're doing right now, they said a lot. They said they felt like a lot of this stuff was born because of debates around who was better, Mickey Mantle or Willie Mays. So Willie Mays is more important than just baseball. He's just important, period. Because we're probably not speaking in the manner that we're speaking. We're probably not doing what we're doing if they're not debating about who's better, if that's the case. So outside of what Dante is gonna say, this is why I say I want to go first because I ain't want to go after him, and he's the baseball guy.
Yeah.
It's just I feel like this man is way more important than when we realize. And when you see somebody that has had the legacy, top two baseball player of all time, and some people will say that he's not two. Like this is the equivalent of Michael Jordan dying at 93 years old. Like we hope Michael Jordan lives as long as he can. So when our great grandkids are around, we can say, "Yo, I don't think y'all really understand. That nigga was the GOAT in 1993."
And LeBron was
And
off.
our and LeBron was tough, and our grandkids is like, "Yo, I don't even know who this motherfucker is, Dad." So yeah, I just hope that people look at this and really understand who we lost. We lost a a Mount Rushmore type figure. And I'll leave it to Dante to explain the rest because he could do it more eloquently than I can.
To put it simply, I mean, he is the greatest baseball player, but Willie Mays served his country for 2 years in the Army, came back and won league MVP the very next year in 1954. So when you combine, his military service combined with him being in the Negro leagues and not being allowed to play at the highest level from the beginning, there's no telling what his numbers would look like if he actually just was able to have a complete full career. So I think he is the greatest to ever do it. I think cultural icon. This is one of the few instances where calling somebody a cultural icon doesn't really do it justice, because he was that important to the game of baseball and to America. Because remember, this was a time where you also, you had Joe Louis, you had Ted Williams, you had all these guys going off to the war, so they were put on a different pedestal than other athletes. But with Willie Mays, it was always, his combination of speed and power is the greatest thing we've ever seen on the baseball field. Winning 10 Gold Gloves. I believe it was 10 straight Gold Gloves in center field. He's considered by everybody as the greatest center fielder ever, the godfather of center fielders. That goes without saying. Even with the great center fielders we've seen, if you ask them, they're going to go without question, Willie Mays. And so him passing away, Hank Aaron passing away, like you said, you're really starting to see just a cascade of legends really, checking out on us. We're really at that time where you're going to see a lot of guys who have really played different games that we've all grown up that we love. And they are the ones who set the tone and set the table. They're no longer going to be here. So it was tough. Like you said, it's hard to feel really, really sad when somebody's in their 90s and they pass away, because it's they've lived a great life. So how much of this, them still being here is just hindering, hurting them. So he's at peace. He's at rest. That's, we love that. But at the same time, let's be clear. This is the greatest baseball player ever. Without a question, this is the greatest baseball player ever, the greatest. And I don't think we'll see anybody like this again. Just given the way the game is played and the way stats are accumulated, you won't see anybody that has hit every milestone that he's hit. I don't think we'll outside of maybe one more person, maybe Altuve. I don't think we'll see too many guys get 3,000 hits, 500 home runs is going to be tough. So just the way the game is played, when you look at Willie Mays and look at everything he's accomplished, it's going to be like unheard of. We talk about Barry Bonds' video game numbers. Willie did all that without, the cloud of steroids, even though I think, Barry is still Barry. But it is it's kind of pretty dope that I feel like 1 and 1A are Willie Mays and his godson, Barry Bonds. But Willie Mays is the greatest to ever do it. And it's definitely a terrible loss for the baseball community.
And Bane, to answer your question, my cousin Gary just texted me in the middle of the show, and he said he heard that baseball had 2 All-Star games in the season back in the 1960s. So that's probably
Yes.
where the ultra.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I knew the answer, but it was just like, damn.
Shout out
Because
my
like one
cousin
of them,
who always watches the
because
show for handing out
I
that
think
stuff.
one of them they said was like charity. Like one of them was like charity, and then boom, boom, boom. But nah, even to that, like still, like yo, 24 and 22, and just from you did. I don't even think Dante you mentioned the catch, and if so, my apologies. But the greatest play in baseball history to this day,
Yeah.
to this day, like
Hot.
man, like we and the reason why I wanted Dante to go before me is because orally he was gonna be able to do that justice. But the other part of it is man, we losing recipes. We losing recipes. It was a show, and I don't think this show still comes on. But it was like baseball seasons. And they gave you they basically did like a documentary on all of the seasons. Sometimes it still pops up on the MLB network, and they be doing like it'd be the old seasons and shit, and you would be seeing like them talk about all of the teams and the players and all of that stuff. And I remember seeing one of the years on Willie Mays, and I was just like, yo, this where you gonna find that footage at? Where you gonna watch that footage at? That's why I believe like the MLB network. That's why I get down on on the NBA network. That's why I love the NFL network. The NFL network does a great job at nostalgia. And I believe, to me, I believe nostalgia outside of the product is the main reason why the
Nigga,
NFL is the number
I
one
will sit
sports
down and watch
organization.
them NFL top 10 marathons all weekend.
Yes.
All
And
weekend.
I think baseball is doing themselves a disservice by not bringing back the nostalgia. Even though some of that nostalgia is racist as fuck, even still, I am 42 years old. I would love to see what some of these old seasons look like, and that's why I DVR'd that shit when I was watching it. Like, yo, I really want to see what the fuck was going on in 1972. It's the nostalgia of it, and if baseball wants to get back to being America's pastime, they got to get back to the nostalgia, make people understand why this is America's pastime. Why is always a great day to go to a ballpark? Why you should feel the way you should feel when you entered hollow grounds and all of those things. They've gotten away from that. And by getting away from that, you've dampened the legacy of legends like Willie Mays. Because when Willie Mays died, I should have saw way more of them tributes with the soft musics behind them shits.
Yeah.
I should have saw that shit like they should have changed the damn logo on the goddamn MLB network. There should have been them baseball seasons episodes talking
Play all
about
them
Willie Mays.
Keith Burns
All that shit.
documentaries. Play all them
All
Keith
of Keith
Burns
Burns
documentaries.
documentaries. There was a Willie Mays documentary. That shit should have been played. That's what should have happened. So baseball, my advice to you all is to get back to the nostalgia. And if you want to add the Negro League to the nostalgia because you added it to the stats, go right a fuck ahead.
Well, I gotta give them some love for what they did yesterday. The Negro League Classic, I thought was pretty well done.
Oh yeah, because that was planned though. He was supposed to be there.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But you know, the MLB doesn't do a lot of good things, as we know. That's Dante's favorite commissioner. But I thought that was well done. But you're right; they do need to go back to that. And I think that a lot of that, why they don't also they don't want to embrace the nostalgia of the steroid era, even though they refuse to accept what they benefited from that era as well. What made me a fan of baseball wasn't even the White Sox, to be honest with you. This is gonna sound blasphemous. It was the home run chase of Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa. I think everybody, if you lived in Chicago in 1998, putting Michael Jordan to the side, there was no bigger star in Chicago than Sammy Sosa in 1998. And you have him in that chase with him and Mark McGwire. And that's why I hate the long ball documentary 30 for 30, because they act like that Sammy was just a footnote in that race when Sammy actually won MVP that year. So that would made me a fan. So they kind of do need to go back to embracing that, but they don't want to embrace the steroid era because you know they don't want that. That has a lot to do with that.
Yeah, and like you said earlier, just got to give a big shout out to Reggie Jackson. Because I mean,
yes,
Major League Baseball tries to whitewash their history, and they try to make it, real romantic and like, man, they persevere through all of this. And Reggie Jackson's like, "No, I was ready to beat somebody ass." Like he just flat out said it. He was like, had I not had those teammates that held me back and helped me, overcome these things, they would have strung my black ass up in a tree somewhere. Like, and the fact that he said that on Fox in front of everybody with Jeter and those guys trying to just get him to put the moment in perspective, and he really did. And I think this is also why a lot of times I say, stop letting these black and white pictures fool you. Like, a lot of the shit that people went through, these are our grandparents, you feel me? Like, and so with baseball, they don't want the bulk of their fan base to be reminded of the shit that their grandparents and parents, all witness and experience. Because we're still at that age where, like you said, Reggie Jackson retired in the 80s. Like, Reggie Jackson, you feel me, it's not old. He's not a very old man. Yeah, he's not like 100 years old. You feel me? So think looking at everything they went through, bro, you can't let them whitewash this shit. So we have to keep everything in perspective.
And then also, and then we'll wrap this up. I do like that, and the same thing I feel with civil rights era pictures. Like Dr. King wasn't that long ago. I think Pavy tweeted this a couple days ago. Slavery is not even 250 years old. It's not that long ago, bro. And they wanna make you think like this is like the 1700s and stuff like that. Like, so that I think has a lot to do with it as well, man. But we're gonna take a break. We'll be back on the other side. Pavy's having technical difficulties, so hopefully he will join us as soon as everything up and all the way. Bang, you just saying about losing Lesnar too. Barry Sanders had a health related
that's what
So as soon as I read that, I'm like, yeah, we don't need to be losing anymore, man. So we're gonna take a break, and then on the other side, we're gonna recap the NBA Finals, and hopefully, Pavy, once he get some technology together, will join us. So we'll be back.
Triple double hat trick, I know the code too. Ice trade, go for trade, yeah we cold too. Getting paper on these player haters, old news, money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the
Oh, that's a fine.
I will sing the song regardless.
I thought this nigga was yawning. I was like,
no.
But shout out to Orlando. Orlando said, he said, I'm glad Reggie Kevin, you tell the white announcer super comes. Shout out to A-Rod for asking the question with his
A-Rod knew what he was
doing. I know black.
But he asked. But
A-Rod knew what he was doing.
I am so sorry you went through that, Reggie.
I'm so sorry they treated you that way. I'm so sorry.
People, hey, before we even go further, I have to say this about white announcers, fam. Just, it's okay to keep it real. Like, yeah, that was kind of fucked up back then. Don't say I ain't know. Like, nigga, yes the fuck you did. All right, because if you
that reminds me of that Martin joke from You So Crazy. No, it wasn't from you. It wasn't from you. But yeah, You So Crazy. I didn't know, Martin. I didn't know.
I didn't know.
I didn't know, Martin.
Nigga, you thought because he was Reggie Jackson that shit was gonna be sweet? No, in fact, it was probably worse because they like swing that bat, nigga, swing it, and then if you don't swing it well, oh, you nigga, like, oh, the expletives is gonna fly. Nah. Don't pat a man on the back like, damn, I didn't even know you experienced this. Nigga, go
I love how Jeter was like, okay, now that we're done talking about race, Barry, would you have sent Satchel Paige out the park? And she's like, let's just get to business. But I think Pavy is ready. I think I want to bring him in. I think I'm looking at. I think he told me to wait 1 second. Okay, he said wait 1 second. We'll bring him in a minute. But we're gonna start our NBA analysis, man. I know it kind of feels like it's been a week, maybe because I just wanted to forget that the Celtics won the NBA championship. It kind of felt like it's been 2 weeks since they won, even though today was their parade. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown having a great week. I saw them niggas win the championship. Jaylen Brown was already the highest paid player in the NBA until Jason Tatum gets his contract, and Jason Tatum will then be the highest paid player in the NBA. But he also made that nigga got Ella May pregnant, and then Shorty from the Sky, she was on the floor with Jaylen Brown. What's good? Like, the niggas is out here winning.
Yeah, I mean it's their time, bro. You know, they didn't pay their dues. They went through the fire and they came out on the other side. You know,
They
shout out
came
to
out
Jason
together.
Tatum and Jaylen Brown, man. People was trying to break them up, and now we asking, what? How much further can they push this thing?
We will be asking the cliche media question of can they start a run in a minute. Bang will be joining us in just a minute. Pat will be joining us in just a minute. But yeah, Boston Celtics won NBA championship on Monday. Blowout victory, like me, Dante, and Bang said was gonna happen on the Monday show. Um and so that was what happened. And then now I think the question that's been going around in media circles has been, how good is this team in the all-time scheme of things? This is a team that statistically, I'm gonna keep saying statistically because I don't believe they are, but statistically, best offense in the history of the NBA. They steamroll people literally from December all the way down to the NBA Finals. They were just just destroying guys, and they did what they needed to do. And also, you got to understand, Porzingis was not around for a lot of that run as well. So I think that's something that you just got to give love to them about what they did, and just now we just kind of think about their rankings and where they're going to be. And as we bring Pavi into this, first of all, Pav, what's going on, brother?
How you feeling, bro? Chilling, can't complain.
Yeah, you had to get your
Got
producer on. Man.
Pavi got the old school R&B mic, got the handheld.
Nah, man, I started using this mic so I could be a little more comfortable when I like pod.
I want to get one of those too, like because I feel more important when you talking that way. I don't know, I feel more important when I do that. But when we talk about that. By the way, follow Pavi at Paviware on all social media platforms. Go to pavverbs.com, man. Also check out the newest episode of Courtesy of the Bachelor, which is on the Barbers Chat Network, YouTube, and of course pavverbs.com. But as I was saying, man, a lot of people wondering about the all-time rankings of this team, just statistically how good they were and how they didn't break a sweat. It went from, they're not facing anybody to maybe they're just this dominant. And as far as ranking, I've seen some people say that if you take away outside of the Kobe and Shaq teams, and obviously he said the Jordan and like the Warriors, this is the best team we've ever seen. Like you took like 13 teams out. But Pavi, what do you think? First of all, what do you think about their performance on Monday, and where do you think this team will ultimately stack, at least right now, all time?
I don't know about odds. I mean, it's a really good team. Obviously, I mean, like I think they lost 3 games all playoffs to lose 3 games all playoffs to lose 3 games all playoffs. Obviously, you're doing something correct. I think that they didn't play anybody is a little bit overstated. I think that they were just really good, and it looked like they didn't play anybody. But at the same time, I do think like they didn't have to go through like a Giannis or I want to say Embiid, but Embiid don't even be alive, had time to get going through. But they didn't have to go through maybe some of the big names that you would think. And like, obviously Denver got knocked out early, so you didn't get the finals matchup that I thought that maybe people thought that you would have got. But I mean, they're a great team. I mean, statistically, if you look down the line, like it lines up. And I mean, they're a great team. Like I don't really know how to conceptualize and say nothing else besides like, they won. They were, I mean, they won 3 games.
Everybody feels about like,
they're great team. Like, I don't like again. I think the true test for them will be next year. Like, was it just a one-off thing? If this is somewhere they can like keep up a run, and like I think we can have that discussion next year. But for now, like, great team. They lost 3 games. Great, incredible.
Dante, you've been on the Celtics train really since the beginning of the season. You really had no doubt that they were going to get it done. What do you think about how they performed on Monday and where they would stack up? I know we're doing a peak sports media thing where these niggas stack up. Yeah. It ain't been a week since. How do you feel about it?
I mean, I'm happy they got it done just because I was sick and tired of the conversation surrounding this team. So like I said, we spent years knowing what they can do and saying, they right there. So now that they got it done, I'm glad to see that. Brad Stevenson really did a great job of surrounding his 2 best players with players that complement them. The fact that pretty much every time down the court, every time you looked up, they had 5 shooters on the floor. You feel me? It was always a way for them to get buckets. And because of that, not only getting buckets, but still defending their position well, you saw them really, like you said, run through people. And that's something that they did all seasons. And we got to the point where we were really just splitting hairs and trying to find ways of, how they could fuck this up. But it was really a matter of this team has always been this strong all season. The whole all-time ranking, I think we don't have to wait to rank Adam Silver's era because this is what 6 years with 6 different title champions or something like that. So like with all of the parity you having and the way that the league is set up now, I think it's not really fair to try to put them somewhere all time right now. Just in a bubble, this was an amazing season, like you said, leading from start to finish. Well, not start to finish because Embiid and Philly got up to a hot start, but once they got in the first place, they never really relinquished control, and they ran through everybody in the playoffs. So, like Pappy said, bro, it's a great season. You tip your cap to them, but I think it's really too early to try to rank them all time. You got to give it a couple years, see how this shakes out because they've been there, they just haven't won it. So they're now 1-2 in the finals. Like you said, handful of Eastern Conference Finals appearances. So I think this is with this group, or at least with Jalen and JT, you got to really give them a couple years, see what they finish off with. And then we could rank these teams all the time. But right now, I think it's just too early for that.
I also think that
go ahead.
this team is kind of weird because, like, usually when you see a team that runs through people like this, they have a guy where you like, oh, he's the best player in the league, or they have like an MVP type thing. You don't even know who the best player on this team is, which I also think contributes like the weird way that we view them, because like you aren't having that, I guess, all time player discussion that you would usually be having if a team made this run because probably their best player, like if the Nuggets ran through everybody like this, you'd be like, oh, like Jokic, one of the best centers of all time. It's 3-time MVP and he ran through everybody. Like you're not really doing that with this team because they don't have a guy that you look at like, yo, this is the, definitive best player in the league type guy. So I think that also helps contribute to, I guess, the weird way that we view this team in the moment.
I actually agree with that. I think you're 100% correct when it comes to we gotta wait and see. Like we're gonna do there's a lot of topics I got on this particular segment that are very first takey, but we gotta do that. But yeah, I think that time will tell about this team because since the Warriors repeated 6 years ago now, it's been a yearly thing, and I feel like last year we were having the same conversations to an extent about the Nuggets, and not really not Nuggets the team, really just Jokic performance in general. So I think in about 5 years we'll probably know. I can't put this team. I don't know where they stack against any of those Warrior teams, any of those Spurs squads, any of those Heatles teams, Kobe Shaq Lakers. There's just so many. There's so many really great teams over these last 24 years post Jordan that is really kind of hard. But if anything, this just gets the monkey off the back, and now I kind of believe the sky's the limit. I'm gonna give it to you, Bang, because Bang, you said all season that if they can get one, that they can run off a couple. What did you think about what you saw, and what would you rank this particular 2023-2024 team all time?
I wouldn't give them a ranking all time. Not shitting on the team or whatever. It's just that while they were dominant, the last team you went against was the 6th seed. Like if you dominate, like when Philadelphia, when the 76ers had the 4-4-4 year, they ended it with beating the Lakers. If they would have beat, Denver, then I think this would be a different conversation, and then you would have to rank them. But right now, I wouldn't really have a ranking from them, so I'll say outside the top 10. However, I stand on it. If you don't give a team like this, a ring, because this team is young enough to roll off 2 or 3 more, depending on what's going on, especially if they don't have to run into a Denver. And if, we could talk all day long about Minnesota, but if this sale go through, does A-Rod come in and want to cut salary? Because shit's just expensive. So there's that. So, if they don't have to run into some of the big dogs and they continue that championship mind state, this a team right here I think could get at least one more. I think they could get at least a back-to-back considering what's going on. The league is in transition. If it's any time, if we want to nitpick Chicago Bulls and Michael Jordan, if we want to nitpick their titles, start the other side of their titles. Well, excuse me, not the other side. Their titles came into expansion years, some transition. So you spread that talent out a little bit. The league is right now is in a little bit transition. You know, KG, LeBron, Steph, Clay, all of these cats are getting old. So when you see a Denver win a championship, and if you see Boston win a championship, you start to look at who might be next. But I don't look at nobody outside of Boston right now. So we'll see what happens, and hopefully we get Boston and Denver next year.
I would 100% like that. Before I get to the actual questions about a dynasty per se, I want to talk more about Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. And I kind of feel like, I know that those two have been scrutinized a lot, particularly on this show, particularly by a nigga named me. But they did out there and they did what they needed to do. Jason Tatum had the best game of the playoffs, of his playoffs, I believe, in Game 6. There was even a point where me and Pappy thought this nigga was going to actually steal the Finals MVP. And shout out to the voters for getting it right. Jaylen Brown, who was, who's the Bob Cousy? No, who's the Finals MVP trophy? It's Larry Bird East Conference Finals trophy in the East Conference Finals. Won it again.
Russell.
No, that's the MVP. Yeah, I was talking about the East Conference Finals.
Oh yeah,
MVP.
my bad. Yeah, that's Larry Bird.
That's Larry Bird. And, now we talk about their legacies because now it's just starting. I don't want to say they're playing with house money, but I also kind of feel like they're playing with house money because they're 25 and 26 years old, respectively. They can do so much more. And I'm not going to say that, they're going to do whatever they want. They're going to do to go to 10 more finals and things like this. But the run that they've had just these last 6-7 years of making it to the playoffs, they've been to the Eastern Conference Finals every year since 2018. I think the only team that's done that much consecutively as a team had to be like the Detroit Pistons when they won like 7 or 8 in a row during the mid-2000s. But they've got a chance now to really just stack their accomplishments and make their careers even greater and greater and build up their legacies. They're already, in my opinion, gonna get their jersey retired. I think both of them can get their jersey retired at Celtics. There's a lot of things that comes from this just as a team. Like everybody on that Celtic team kind of gets a little more feather in his cap. I think Drew Holiday and Al Horford punched their tickets to the Hall of Fame on Monday. I truly believe
I don't know about Drew Holiday.
I think Drew is going in. I'm gonna go even. I think the reputation around Drew.
I don't know if he can Hall of Fame.
Gee, a lot of niggas look at him like it's the new age Joe Dumars, bro.
But
it's gonna take a long time, bro.
I don't. Mo Cheeks in the Hall of Fame. Like I don't know, bro.
This
is gonna take a
basketball Hall of Fame.
But
the basketball Hall of Fame is a little easier.
But it's gonna take a long time.
Y'all want to hear my hot take? Y'all want to hear my hot take?
What?
Drew gets in before Horford. That's my hot take.
I believe that.
Bro.
No, hell
no.
No, I can believe
you had a better basketball career than Al Horford. Al Horford got 2 titles in college, 6-time All-Star. I don't know how many times he's been All NBA, and he a champion. Listen, if Drew get in, it's gonna be like Michael Cooper. It took him 30, 40 years to get in. It should be like that.
We comparing Drew to Coop.
But Al Florida.
And no, you're wrong. I think Coop had a better career. I think Coop was good. Drew's not over.
Coop, he ain't. Coop got like 4 rings and like 2 defensive player of the year.
Do you think that the Joe Dumars comparison is off? Go ahead.
When we have these conversations,
yes, I do, by the way.
When we have these conversations, we also got to think of who is this person going to go in with.
That's also very true.
Drew Holiday is getting into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, who's his class going to be?
Who is his class is going to be? The reason why Michael Cooper didn't get into the Hall of Fame for quite a long time.
God-like classes.
Because it was God-like classes for quite some time. Ladies and gentlemen, we ain't in the God-like class section. He gonna get in, motherfucker. He gonna get in. And he probably get in before Horford because who's going to stop him?
Listen to this, bro. 2-time champion, 2-time All-Star, 3-time defensive first team, 3-time defensive second team. That's Hall of Fame, G?
No.
In the NBA, in the
Come on, bro. Come on. Chauncey even had a better resume than that, bro.
I think Chauncey's in the Hall of Fame, ain't he?
He had a better resume than fucking. He
just
had a better resume than Drew Holiday.
Yeah, but that talks about the class, though.
Come
than
on,
what
bro.
we're
We
talking
can't
about.
do
It's
this.
the
G.
class, G.
We can't do
Look,
this, bro.
is
can't do
Drew
this,
Holiday
dog.
a Hall of Famer to me?
No.
Will he get into the Hall of
No.
Fame?
Yes.
Yes.
No.
Why? Because
Iggy get in?
because the Basketball Hall of Fame just be
Iggy
letting
getting
niggas in.
Hold
Is
on,
Iggy
look.
get-
I don't think Iggy
Yeah.
should get in. I think
Iggy
he's
not
gonna
getting
get in.
Come on, G.
I
We can't
think
do
he's
this.
gonna get in.
Yes, he
Come
is
on,
gonna get
we can't
in.
do
I
this,
don't
bro.
think
We
he
can't do this,
should, but I think he
We
is.
can't do this, bro.
Pav,
You
you're
can't
not
be in the
you're
same
not
Hall of
listening.
Fame as Michael Jordan. I know. I hear you completely, and no.
Like,
No.
is he a Hall of Fame to me? A Hall of Famer to me? No.
He can't
Will
get
they
in.
let him in that motherfucker? Yes.
Nah, G,
they
he can't
don't
get in,
have time. They need to. If your beef is not with our take. Your beef is with
With
the
how they vote.
credentials
They're
that
not
they
letting
let
you get in,
motherfuckers
bro.
in the
They're
Hall
not
of
letting-
Fame.
No,
G.
bro.
Pat,
No,
look,
bro. They're
Pat,
not
we
getting in,
with
bro.
you. I feel like the Gates need
We
to be
with
put
you.
in front of the Hall of Fame.
They
I
not.
believe
G,
that it needs to be as tough to get in the Hall of Fame for basketball as it is with baseball and football. You need
It
to
needs to be
really
tougher
put it
because it's
down.
less
Okay.
players.
Basketball
Who is-
Hall of Fame is a participation trophy at some time.
Question. Who is the worst person in recent memory to get in the Hall of Fame?
Who's the what?
Who is the worst American? Because
Do
the
you
force
really
is
want my real answer?
yes.
You gonna say T Mac?
You know who I'm gonna say? Tracy
Who?
McGrady.
Come on, man. Come on.
Tracy
bro.
No, G.
McGrady.
He's gonna
Tracy
say T-Mac.
Lamar McGrady
Come on,
should
bro.
not be
Come on, bro.
in Springfield,
Come on, bro.
Massachusetts.
Okay, fine. So if Tracy shouldn't be in with all that Tracy did, we let Drew Holiday and fucking Iggy in?
Look.
No.
Yes, Drew's a two-time champion.
Come on, my G.
Drew
We
played
can't-
That's a team accomplishment, bro.
Drew
Stop
played
it, bro.
basketball
Stop it, bro.
after Mother's
Stop
Day.
it, bro. Stop it, bro. We can't do this,
Yes,
bro.
you should.
Is Joakim
After-
Noah get in?
No, he shouldn't. No, he
So how the
shouldn't.
fuck Noah getting in, but they not? But come on, bro.
Look,
The rings matter, bro.
Come on, bro.
Eli
Look, if
Manning
you-
is getting the Hall of Fame off his daddy.
Eli
ring.
got a better goddamn resume than fucking Drew Holiday and damn Iggy.
Look, my
I will throw
credentials.
this mic through this goddamn. Come on, G.
Listen,
I will throw this mic through this fucking computer screen.
Look, all I'm gonna say is this. For me, it should be more difficult to get into the Basketball Hall of Fame that it should get into to get into than any other sport because the amount of players that are in there. So some of the names that I'm going to say, you might argue me up and down that they should be in the Hall of Fame, but to me they're in the Hall of Fame because they don't have it's not tough to get into this bitch and not get in there. Like, to me, Chauncey Billups is not a Hall of Famer.
That's
Vince
fine.
Carter is not a Hall of Famer.
That's fine.
Vince Carter's not a Hall of Famer. He's a Hall of Fame character. He's a Hall of Fame,
fine.
like,
Both the names that you just
contributor.
said got better
But
careers than Iggy and
player,
Holiday.
he's not a Hall of and they getting into this one right here. If I scroll down 2022, yeah, Manu should be in the Hall of Fame. I give him that. Tim Hardaway should have been in that motherfucker. But Chris
Well, we know why
Chris
Tim
Bosh is
Hardaway
not a Hall of
didn't
Famer
get
to me.
No,
Well,
G,
yeah,
Chris Bosh got a better goddamn career.
Chris Bosh going to Hall of Fame.
Come on, bro.
No, if it's to me,
You
to me,
saying he shouldn't be. You saying he shouldn't be.
he
Not that
shouldn't
won't.
be.
I
To
got
me,
you.
the Hall of Fame is not
I
built
got you.
on the third nigga. That's what I'm saying.
I'm
If
with
it's
you.
tough to get in them bitches, like Chris Bosh is not a Hall of Famer to me. Tony Kukoc is a Hall of Famer because of the shit he did up in Europe. So
Yes.
it's cool. Like, yeah, so it's players like that as contributors and stuff, or players because it's the Basketball Hall of
Everybody you
Fame.
just said has a
I
better
totally
career
understand.
than Iggy and Drew
But
Holiday.
we're not disagreeing with what you're saying.
not
We're
disagreeing
saying
with you.
how they vote.
And I'm
If
How they
this,
saying
vote.
if this is the Football Pro Hall of Fame, but
And I'm
they're gonna
saying-
get in, my nigga.
both them in.
It's gonna be a
Like
class.
some-
It's gonna be Drew Holiday and
old
Kyle
nigga-
Lowry.
Listen, I go to
Some old
Springfield,
nigga-
Massachusetts one day, and I'll walk in the Hall of Fame, and I see a fucking buster, Drew Holiday. I want my money back.
Gee, Jack Sigma is a Hall of Famer. Jack
Jack
Sigma is a Hall of Famer.
Jack Sigma got a better career than Drew Holiday.
I don't see it.
Bang. Come on,
Jack
bro.
Sigma, fam.
Bang. Bang.
Jack Sigma got
Bang.
I
Bang.
found
Bang.
next week's clip.
Bang.
I found
Bang.
next week's clip.
Bang. We doing this, bang. We doing this. We doing this. We gonna do this right now.
Brad Miller was better. Okay.
Brad
Your
Miller was better
Bulls
than
bias.
Horford. Okay.
I saw
okay,
somebody
now
else
we're
in
lying.
chat say that
Now
Joe
we're
Kim
telling
was
lies.
better than Horford. Look,
I'm not
I
mad
love,
at that. I'm not mad at that.
I love Joe Kim though, like he's a member of my family. No,
I'm not mad at that.
Bruh, go Go look at Jack Sigma stats and go look at Drew Holiday stats.
G. First and foremost, Jack Sigma is a champion. Jack Sigma is also like a 5-time All-Star, if I'm not mistaken. Jack Sigma is a 7-time All-Star, all defensive second team, NBA champion.
That don't scream Hall of Famer to me is my point. That still don't scream Hall of what you're making the point for me, Pav. The point that I'm making is there's a lot of people that are in the Hall of Fame because they was the best player on the team that they played for. That's why there's a lot of niggas in the Hall of Fame.
And my point
I'm with you. I am with you. I agree with you that on the surface, Drew Holiday should not even be a conversation that Drew Holiday is in the Hall of Fame. But you know what the Hall of Fame got a lot of? Glue guys. They got a lot of glue guys that's in the goddamn Hall of Fame. They do.
Gee, hold on. Post-merger is glue guys in the Hall of Fame? Post-merger. Jack Sigma wasn't a glue guy, G.
He was the best. Again, I said they got a lot of niggas that was the best player on their team in glue guys. Jack Sigma was the best player on the Seattle Supersonics and the Milwaukee Bucks. Does that make him a Hall of Famer?
Hold on. He was putting up these numbers in the arguably the best era of centers. I'm just saying. It was the 70s.
You want to give shit. That's the point. You're making the point for me. You're literally making the point for me, Pat.
No, I'm not, because my point is still.
But does that make him a Hall of Famer?
My point is still he got a fucking better career than Drew Holiday. That's my whole point. Everybody you named got a better career than fucking Drew
That's
Holiday.
why I said we have two different. That's why I keep saying we have two different points, Pat. We agree with you. We agree with you. On the surface, Drew Holiday is not a Hall of Famer, but they let anybody get into that bitch. I just named you two players. You said name me the worst niggas that got into a Hall of Fame.
Bro.
That's what you said when we started this shit.
Still better than fucking Drew Holiday.
I said Chauncey Billups and Vince Carter. You was like, yeah.
They got better careers than Drew Holiday is my other point.
That doesn't matter. A lot of this shit matters on who is at the same time.
The storylines matter, bro.
Name me, like, that matters. That matters. Look, that's why a lot of motherfuckers ain't get in the time they were supposed to get in. They was like, oh, that nigga's better.
I'm gonna close it with this part, guy. Because look, I think both of y'all ain't wrong, but going off how they voted, it's kind of like what Donnie said in the chat. Storylines and history of franchises playing the Hall of Fame eligibility. People are going to look at this ring and be like, oh, Drew Holiday was the missing piece. They're going to look at that. Look, Giannis.
He had 50, 40, and 96 in the finals.
Giannis was a loser. He was the missing piece.
But they let niggas like that in.
That's my point. If we're going off straight off statistic, I'm with you. Take the Hall of Fame key, lock it away, tell Drew don't even look on that block. But if we going off how they vote, you're gonna go in the Springfield, Massachusetts in about 15 years, and you're gonna see Kyle Lowry in one row and Drew Holiday in another.
Has a better individual career than fucking Drew Holiday.
Is Kevin Love
not a Hall of Famer?
Yes, Kevin Love is a Hall of Famer.
Yes, Kevin Love is
Kevin Love is a Hall of Famer. Come on, bro.
Kevin Love is a Hall of Famer.
Come on, bro.
We ain't heard from Kevin Love, fam. We ain't heard Kevin Love do anything special since Minnesota.
He won an NBA championship.
But what
did I just say?
He locked up Steph.
Was he the best player on that? Was he the best player on that team?
I have a question. Who has a better career, Drew Holiday or Kevin Love?
It's Pav.
No.
I
just want to answer.
It's not about that. If it was about that, none of these niggas would be in the Hall of Fame. You argue, Pav. No, Pav, stop. Because you aren't Pav. You're not listening. We agree. Stop saying that shit. We agree. Okay. We agree that a lot of these niggas shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. What me and Scott are telling you is that niggas with lesser careers in the eras that they've been in, niggas with storylines and all of that shit gets in the Hall of Fame. These sports writers vote for these niggas to get into the Hall of Fame. And you know who a lot of these niggas get into the Hall of Fame? Niggas they like. There's a number of niggas in the Hall of Fame that I don't believe should be there. And no, I would not vote Kevin Love into the motherfucking Hall of Fame. I do not believe he's a Hall of Famer. But do I believe that nigga gonna get in? Yes. And it's not because he has a better career than another nigga. It's the time that you get in, and the time that you get in matters. And when you start looking around and you saying we got to nominate somebody in this motherfucker, and in this era of time, outside of LeBron, KD, Carmelo, Dwayne Wade, who's already, when it comes to some of these niggas, I don't think certain niggas got to wait for 5 years to get in the Hall of Fame. I think the 5 year stretch for some niggas is stupid as fuck. You think Michael Jordan should have retired and he had to wait 5 years to get into the motherfucking Hall of Fame? The minute Michael Jordan said, I'm over with, the first time in 1993, they should have said, fuck that shit, we in the Hall of Fame. Kobe shouldn't have to wait 5 years. I think hockey did it the best. When Wayne Gretzky ass retired, they was like, man, fuck this 5 year shit. That nigga going in. They did the same thing with Mario Lemieux. Fuck this 5 year shit. This nigga's a motherfucking Hall of Famer. If he come back, he's a Hall of Fame motherfucker that's playing currently. There are some people that you don't even have to wait 5 years for. LeBron shouldn't have to wait 5 years, but
Tom
you know
Brady
what's going to
should be in
happen?
the Hall of Fame right now.
Tom Brady should be in the Hall of Fame right now. So that's how I feel about the Hall of Fame. I feel that the Hall of Fame is for the very fucking best. And Drew Holiday is not that. But when this nigga retires 5-6 years from now, I ain't saying this nigga gonna be first ballot. I'm definitely not saying this nigga gonna be first ballot. But when that nigga retires and that nigga do just a little bit more, these sports writers gonna be like, you know what? This nigga was actually a good guy. He was a good player.
He's
What
classy.
do you think about?
He was
He's
great with the
classy.
media.
Look what he's great with the media. His wife.
Okay,
His
listen.
wife and what she had to endure. That shit get
I'll give
niggas
you
into
this.
the Hall of fucking Fame.
Listen, I'll give you this. His career isn't over. He just signed a 4-year deal. You don't know what else he'll do with Boston. I'll give you that part. But as it stands right now, hell fucking no.
I agree.
Okay.
We agree.
We arguing the
we
same
just know,
thing. Yeah.
right? What we're saying is that even though we agree, them niggas gonna let that nigga in. And we gonna be looking back from this clip 10 years from now. We gonna be looking back from this clip 10, 15 years from now. And your ass gonna be like, nah. And they gonna use that shit in the fucking highlight reel because this nigga gonna get in the Hall of Fame. And we gonna be looking like, why the fuck is this nigga in the Hall of Fame?
I don't want to make this too much on Hall of Fame because we do got to move on to other topics because we don't want this to be a 3.5 hour show. But to answer the question that I see right here, Derrick Rose is a toss up.
He get in the Hall of Fame, bro. You can't have an MVP as not in the Hall of Fame.
I pray to God he does, but I think it's a toss up.
He would be the only MVP to not be in the Hall of Fame.
That's why I hope and I think he's gonna get in. But it also like it goes back to what Bang said. Who's the class? Who's the class? I think is the question. But let's move on. Let's talk about kind of elaborate what Bang said about the Celtics, and then we're going to just ask a question about the Mavericks and go into our other NBA stuff. But is this a birth of a dynasty? That's going to be the talk. We've seen the talk all over sports media these last couple of days. Can the Celtics break a couple things off? And I'll say this about it, and I don't really like to do the hyperbole of oh yeah, they're about to break off a couple more because this is the 7th straight NBA champion that is not repeated. We haven't seen a repeat in 6 years. We haven't seen a three-peat in 22 years in any sport. We just talked about the Chiefs on Monday's show. I'll say this. On paper, they have as good of a chance as anybody. I believe Tatum and Brown are going to play even better next year because that massive monkey off their back is gone, specifically Jason Tatum. I think you're going to see the best Jason Tatum next year. Joe Mazzulla is going to get more comfortable in his job. Horford's old. He's not going to be a long-term, but Drew signed that long-term deal. And Porzingis, honestly, if he can stay healthy, which I'm not picking because he does not stay healthy, this team can still be around. They can be around, and the Celtics organization has shown that they can build other pieces and make this a deep team. So I do think on paper they have a chance, But what's the Eastern Conference going to look like next year? You know, we're already hearing whispers about the Bucks are going to try to get better bench players and build a deeper team around Giannis and Dame Lillard. What are they going to look like? What are the Sixers going to do in the offseason? You know, there's a lot of questions. But Jimmy Butler going to go? What's Paul George going to go? The West, Denver's not going to go anywhere. OKC's gotten better. I think this is going to be tough. But if anything, they do have the chance. I'm not ready to say right now that they're for sure going to be a dynasty. But I do believe on paper they have a great chance to do it. Fab, what do you think about them potentially running off a couple and becoming a dynasty?
Yeah, I think that's something that could really. I'm actually with Bang when Bang said, "Yo, this team that you this is a team that you don't want to let win." I completely agree. Um, I think that these are guys are like, okay, you know what? We figured out how to win, and these guys should still get better. Like I think Jason Tatum has. I mean, I think he could improve his shot selection. He can improve his mid range game. Like there are things that Tatum can do to still get better. Like I think Tatum could be a MVP. I think he can be an MVP level player. He's not that yet. Like what happens if he becomes that? I think Jaylen Brown can do things and get better. I think the main thing for them is health, but they seem to have pretty healthy guys outside of Porzingis. Obviously he's a big part of it, but like as long as Porzingis limbs can stay on his body, Derek White seems to have the building health. Drew Holiday for the most part is healthy. Tatum and Jalen are usually healthy. This is going to be an expensive team, especially when you talk about the second apron coming in. But if the owners are willing to pay, I mean, it's Boston. Obviously, if you keep the team together and you win, you're gonna make your money back. So yeah, like I definitely think this is a team that I think if they don't at least repeat, I would be disappointed. I don't think anybody can make a move in the East that should make them better than this Boston Celtics team, especially when you count on the fact that for the most part everybody's young and you can still see internal improvement with this team.
Bane, did you have anything else to add on this? But besides what you said not too long ago, or no?
Nah, but Pav, just to let you know, there's only one Finals MVP that is not in the Hall of Fame, and that's Cedric Cornbread Maxwell, who was the NBA MVP in 1981. Outside of that, every Finals MVP is in the Hall of Fame.
It's
So
gonna
that
be two.
Being
means
that Iggy,
It's gonna
that
be
means
two.
Iggy got a good
$100
shot.
million. Yeah,
He got a great shot of getting in this motherfucker Hall
it's
of
gonna
Fame.
be too.
He got a
Nah, it gonna be
99% chance of getting in this motherfucker Hall of Fame. But no, I ain't got
Hell
nothing
no.
to add.
Dante, what you think about the chances of Boston being set up for a dynasty?
It's a good chance. It's a good chance. Like we said, this is a team that had been there to the top and just hadn't been able to get over. But now that they finally got over, and the way that they did it, and the way that Brad Stevens is really committed to, like I said, putting the best talent around those two. I think this is a team you could see they can end up with, two or three. Not saying they'll go back to back, but seeing as though they've always gotten there, what's to stop them from getting another one? And I think that um, especially with Jaylen Brown. I think with Jaylen Brown, that's a guy who we always talk about how he gets overlooked, but him, not only winning the ring and getting Finals MVP, I think you can see him take his game to another level. I think with Tatum, we saw some, even though throughout the season this was like his best shooting wise percentages. We know he could, like Pappy said, improve his shot selection, and just some of the shots he was missing. Like we've seen him make those shots, so I mean we could definitely see them take that to another level. And if they do that with the way that they just dominated, you could see them easily right back in the finals. So I mean I think it's going to come down to who they match up with in the West when they do make it through the East. But we're going to see what happens this offseason with some of the shuffling. Like you said, Paul George may be coming this way, which he has to stay healthy, but depending on the team he joins in the East, that could change things a little bit. But I think this could definitely be the start of something that well, at this point we expect it, because this is a team that's had the talent and they've had the trips there. They just finally got it done.
Also, if I can add one thing, we can't forget about the coach, Joe Mazzulla. Like this was his second year coaching. Just like players get better, coaches get better. And I think that Joe Mazzulla probably needs a little bit more respect for his coaching job that he did throughout this playoffs. Obviously, compensating for the loss of Porzingis, even him going out mid-series, and even how he used him when he came back. Like Joe Mazzulla is a guy that I think can grow and be one of the better coaches in the league. If he isn't that already. So again, everybody with this Celtics organization has room to grow, and they've already won. And I think that's the scary part if I'm the rest of the Eastern Conference.
100%, man. And I have an update on Paul George. We'll talk about in a minute about what the Sixers said about him. But last thing with the NBA Finals, to wrap the NBA Finals talking, we can get back to laughing at the Lakers in just a minute. What's next for the Dallas Mavericks? The Dallas Mavericks, who were the losers of this NBA Final. I'm not shocked that the Celtics won, but I expected a much better from the Dallas Mavericks. Poor finals by Kyrie Irving. Luka definitely didn't have the best final. The others kind of went MIA outside of like Game Four. Wasn't Jason Kidd's best coach, you know, performance. But I know a lot of people are, oh, they're not coming back. They blew their chance. I'm gonna disagree. I'm gonna disagree for a couple reasons. I believe that the Mavericks will be able to add more stuff to the team. I do think that a year with Daniel Gafford, I think Derek Lively is going to go to another level. And then Luca. Once I think the one thing Luca's got to work on this offseason is his defensive effort and just shut up when it comes to foul calls. He's going to get even better. Like the dude is already freaking nature. He's gonna get better. The downside that is Kyrie's just gonna get older. But I like this team's chances as much as anybody else. I'm not predicting that they're gonna make it back to the finals. But I definitely think the window for them to be in this championship race is officially open for them. And I like what they do. As long as you got Luka and he keeps getting better and better, the window was there. And now they have learning experience in this as well. We know 2 years ago we were wondering about Tatum and Brown. Luka is a superior player than both of them, and in the same age range. I believe he can get better. So I see no reason why they can't. Not if it's not next year, but in these next couple years, get back to the NBA Finals and actually win it. So I think this year, and I'm not a big moral victories guy at all, but they should look at this year as a success. Nobody picked them to go to the NBA Finals. Nobody on this panel picked them to go to the NBA Finals either. They made it. Yeah, they got washed, but it was just Boston time at the same time. And I believe eventually Luca will be an NBA champion, man. And I think they got a chance. Pat, what do you think about the Mavericks' future? Are you with me on this, or do you think that they cooked their shot to win it?
I won't say they missed a shot, obviously, because Luca, as long as he can stay healthy and keep his body right, I think that he has a long career um ahead of him. So I won't. I'll give them the Luca part of it, and also I think they have to count on internal improvement, right? Like I don't think you're gonna get another star that's coming to this team unless somebody wants to, without gutting your entire roster. I know Tim Hardaway, if I'm not mistaken, he's on a expiring. Derrick Jones Jr. was on a league minimum. I don't know if you're going to be able to keep Derrick Jones, because I think that if you look at what Derrick Jones did in the playoffs, somebody's probably going to come in and pay him some money. But like I said, you have Tim Hardaway coming off the books. So I think you really got to depend on internal improvement. Like Lively obviously was a rookie. He works out with Tyson Chandler. Like, can he be Tyson Chandler? Like, can he be that good? Gafford, can he continue to grow? But I think the downside of it is Kyrie is 32. He'll be 33 next season. Kyrie had a pretty moderately healthy season for Kyrie standards throughout his career. How many more of these seasons does he have left? Also, granted, I know modern technology is better, but we've seen guards. What happens to guards when they get in their like 30s? I think people was like, "Oh, Kyrie just played bad." No, Kyrie was getting his ass beat up. It got to the point where he got to the highest level, and Drew Holiday and Derek White was doing a number on that man. It wasn't that he was playing bad; it was a reason why he was playing bad. So I think the Kyrie is getting older part is definitely a thing, but I won't say that they missed their shot, but I will say it doesn't get easier. I mean, they beat OKC. I mean, I'm like sure we'll talk about it later on, but I think OKC got better yesterday, and that's a team that you barely beat. Like if they shoot better, they probably win that series. So I won't say it's over with, but I will say it probably. And again, I'm not even saying that this was easy for them. I'll just say it's going to be increasingly difficult for them to get back when I just look at the roster and the pieces, and also what these contracts, especially like Luka's next deal, is going to do to this team, and probably cap strap you and not allow you to add maybe the pieces that you need to be as successful as you want to be.
Bang, what you think about the Mavs' chances to win a title in the future?
Hey man, I ain't got no hope. The West is just too deep. Um, and I mean the NBA is filled with those teams that just went to the finals once, and that's it. Dallas should be a market that free agents should go to. Texas ain't no state income taxes there. The weather's nice. The women look great. And you had an owner that would be willing to spend and make sure that your life and your well-being is taken care of. Now this new owner, after my man Pablo Foray, did the little expose or whatever. I don't know. But it should be a free agent destination, at least in my opinion, but it's not. So they're gonna have to, like I said before, real coaching and real GM in hours. But that's not gonna stop you from beating Denver or OKC coming up and some of those teams. So nah, I think if Luca does win the title, it's probably not gonna be in Dallas. That's what I'll say. If he does win one, it's not going to be in Dallas. But I don't think Luka is going to win the title in a Dallas Mavericks uniform. It's just too much going up against him.
Dante, take us home on this topic.
Never say never, but it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough, and I think my main reason is just the West is just packed. I think it's not as top heavy as it was in the past, but you have a lot of teams that can do damage, and with the way teams reshuffle, and with the new TV contracts coming, that means that salary caps are gonna rise, and teams are gonna be able to do a little bit more. I know they've done things in the CBA to try to prevent that, but I think now with more money coming in, bro, you're gonna see a return to, I won't say three big superstars, but you'll be able to have two max contracts and some high quality, role players on your team. So seeing how teams shuffle will determine a lot of that. So it's going to be tough, but I think when you have a talent like Luka who can still get better, he still has things he can work on in his game, and you still have Mark Cuban. I know he relinquished ownership, but he still helps with the day-to-day in the basketball. So that they will be aggressive in adding talent. I think you need to find a third scorer. I wonder if they can, I don't think they can finesse it contract wise, but having like a Paul George I think would be great for Dallas, but I just don't see that happening. But just getting some people in there that can take some of that pressure off Luka and Kyrie to have to go get 30 every night, and I think that'll help them a lot. So it's gonna be tough, but I'll never say never. But I think right now you just really need to focus on getting that third scorer in there to take that pressure off of your two stars.
Definitely, man. Let's move on to our next topic, man. Last Friday on the show, we talked about the mess that is the Los Angeles Lakers. Surprisingly, people actually agreed with us with the reel we posted a couple of days ago. But we were talking about just the whole mess while we all felt like the Lakers mystique had left the building, and it's not the team, the franchise as it used to be. The franchise hired their 8th coach in the last 13 years I think it was actually on Wednesday. Yeah, eight coaches in the last 13 seasons. Mr. JJ Redick, big day for podcasters across the country. That there is a way to get you a better job out there. He signed a 4-year deal, no details, no details on the actual numbers, but he signed a 4-year deal. He is currently rounding together his new staff and things like that. I'm just gonna keep it all the way simple with this. I don't understand it from either perspective. I understand it more from JJ's perspective more than I understand it for the Lakers, because it can be kind of like if you date a woman who's a little bit out your out your league, and not to say the Lakers are out of JJ Redick's league, but this is a comparison I'm league. Even if she dumps you, it's a tone setter now. He can go get him another job. The reason I don't get it is because I would rather not have the pressure of trying to fix a Laker team that I believe is unfixable. What I mean by unfixable, as far as winning championships, that's all it's going to be about in the LeBron James, Anthony Davis era, is winning NBA championships. I think that ship has sailed. Who knows? JJ could be good. I don't know. Other qualified coaches weren't good for them. Maybe somebody who's unqualified may be good for him. I think he's a tremendous podcaster. Him and LeBron's podcast is real good X's and O's. In fact, I think that's what got him the job was the podcast. But I don't get it from the Lakers perspective. If you're trying to win now and you're trying to maximize the LeBron James window, why would you go with an unproven coach? It just doesn't matter to me. I think this is a boom or bust situation. That it could be either really, really well, and it could be like, oh, Rob Pelinka looked like a genius, or it could be more Rob Pelinka should have got fired 2 years ago, which is where I think this is going to land. Pav, what do you think about the JJ Redick signing for the Lakers?
I mean, who else you gonna get? Like, it's not like it's a whole slew of great coaches out there. I mean, like, who's gonna get Monty Williams? He's got fired twice. Like, look at the coaching landscape.
He's getting paid to stay home.
He getting paid to stay home. I don't really think he want to coach, and why would you want to coach?
Yeah.
So yeah, like who else you gonna get? I mean, and then also there's also the LeBron factor. Like outside of Pop, who the fuck gonna coach LeBron? Outside of Pop and Eric Spoelstra, who really gonna coach Bron? If JJ and Bron, facts. And I don't think, and we in 2024, we don't do player coaches at this point. I think they outlawed it if I'm not mistaken, actually. So who else you gonna get? I mean, JJ and Bron seem to have built a rapport with their podcast. I think the funniest part of it is all them X's and O's, they ain't about to run none of that shit. It's gonna be mad switching the ISOs. They ain't running a single one of them plays that they was cooking up. But I think JJ had the chance to be really good. I mean, the last person who came from, I guess, broadcasting to coaching was a little bit different because Steve Kerr also was general manager as well. But broadcasting to coaching was Kerr. You see what he did. I think JJ has a chance to be very good. So we'll see. But yeah, I don't really have an issue with the hiring because literally who else would you going to hire a college coach? Dan Hurley? Like that was gonna be much better. He gonna be coming in and trying to run in UConn systems. Anybody making that shit the fuck out of here? We ain't running no UConn systems, bro. Like you trying to run flex actions, maybe switch it. Like we ain't doing this. So I think it's a good hire and good luck to the man. You know, I think it's a great story. You know, a guy who was player, then went and did a pod, and you know, his basketball expertise was so well respected that it landed him a job. So, you know, I think it's also could be a new wave. Maybe you might see other people try to do this as well. So good luck to the man. But I don't really have an issue with the hiring because, like I said, it's not like there's like just legendary coaches just waiting out there in the wing to be hired. So you got to kind of do what you can. So yeah,
I don't want to spend too much time on this topic. But Bane, Dante, do you have anything, any takes on this about this particular hiring?
I mean, the nigga soft launched his head coach with a podcast. I think it's pretty amazing. You know, it speaks to the power of LeBron James. We talk about this a lot, but I mean, if you the Lakers, I think you're being held hostage by LeBron until he leaves. So I think this was a call he made, and that's why JJ was a guy, because like you said, it's a situation where if you're a head coach and you see the turnover that they've had, you don't really want this job. Like this job is not as desirable as it once was to be, you know, the head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. So I think they really let LeBron make this call, and you know, we're gonna see how it goes. Like you said, all of the X's and O's, we're not gonna see that on a nightly basis, but this is just to show people, okay, JJ does have, you know, a basketball IQ where he's not just LeBron's puppet.
Anything to add, Bang?
We're gonna, hey man, look, this is a great stopgap for JJ before he starts his NBA on NBC career, because this shit ain't gonna last. This is a short-term fix for a long-term problem that the Lakers got. All right, they should be looking at life without LeBron. They should be looking at AD if AD is the focal point and what is going to happen. If JJ Redick just so happens to be that person, fine. I'm looking at who are potential assistant coaches, and even with the potential assistant coaches I see, not for a first-time head coach, not for a first-time period head coach. Like, you got to have somebody experienced on there to help you out. So, and then plus I got to look at the players. Like, oh, okay, you over here doing the pod with LeBron. That's how you got this joint. All right, cool. But LeBron James is going to be in 2 years. So we'll see you on NBA on NBC. So that's it.
I doubt they're going to do it, but I really hope for content purposes they continue the podcast. I would love to have LeBron James, JJ Redick podcast reviews after the niggas
20-point lead to Denver.
Right after them niggas blew a 14-point lead to New Orleans in December.
Can you imagine that when you didn't call that timeout when they went on that 10-0 run? I knew it was over. They can't do that shit, bro.
JJ pulled out a play. LeBron was, where was that last night in Portland? Yeah, you can't, like, for content purposes, that would be content gold. Well, I know that.
So when you said fuck me and ran your own play, what were you thinking, LeBron? Let me know. Let us know.
Let's tell the viewers what was going through your mind.
When I called 35 horns and you waved it off to get the switch on, I don't know, DeAndre Ayton and missed a setback three. What the fuck was going through your mind, LeBron?
What was going through your mind when De'Aaron Fox went on an 8-0 run by himself? What was going on? Like, that for content purposes would be amazing, man. But the NBA season is over, but the off season is just getting started. We don't know who these niggas are. Who are these niggas draft is in 4 days. But I want to talk about some of the topics, the storylines headed into this off season. So I'm going to do Scott's top 5 off-season storylines, and we'll just go quickly around anybody who has comments on that. So we're going to start it now. My number 5 NBA off-season storyline is the futures of Donovan Mitchell and Mr. Klay Thompson. Does Donovan Mitchell really want to be in Cleveland? That he can extend his contract this offseason. He will be officially a 10-year vet, so that will push him with 10-year vet service. I think he can make up to 275. Yeah, 200. It's been 10 years.
Crazy.
$275 million. Does he want to live in Cleveland? I would live in Idaho for $275 million, but I'm also not Donovan Mitchell who has options. Or is he going, I'm cool. He going to let this contract go out and he's going to hit the free agency next year and go to a team that he really wants to go to, and that is the Garden, the Mecca, even though I don't think a combination of him and Jalen Brunson works at all. But what's going to be the question on that? And also, I think we're going to see the swan song for Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson is going to be very humbled in these contract negotiations. Now, it could go one of two ways. Mike Dunleavy could be forced by Joe Lacob and Peter Guber to give him the legacy deal. You were one of the founding fathers of this new run. You're going to have your jersey up. You're probably gonna have a statue with Steph in there. We're probably not a statue. You're probably gonna have like a little bust like we do Scottie Pippen and do nothing. Steph's probably gonna be the only nigga with a statue outside. But you're gonna have your jersey retired. You're gonna be in there. You're going to the Hall of Fame, first ballot. We're gonna give you this money that you really don't deserve just because of service time. Or I believe they're gonna be like, look, Klay, we love you, but we need this team to get better. We need to maximize on the last couple years of Steph Curry and try to get back in that championship window. And I think there's gonna be a team out there that's gonna front load a lot of that contract, maybe the Orlando Magic, which I think would be actually good for them. And I think Klay Thompson's career as a Golden State Warrior is over as we know it. Pat, what do you think about the futures of Donovan Mitchell and Klay Thompson?
I hope Klay Thompson gets up out of there. I think that either Orlando or OKC would be the move. I think that Klay is still a good basketball player. It's not like Klay's terrible. He's just not what he once was. But if he could get to a team like the Magic, who clearly needs shooting, and also with these teams, you would actually win. Like, I think the Magic could be in the conference finals next year, especially if they get more shooting and Paolo is, who he possibly could be in France, continues to grow. I think they would still need maybe a lead guard, maybe still. Huh?
From what path? From where?
What you mean?
You said from where?
No, he called him Franz Wagner. He wasn't saying from France. Nigga.
Oh, okay. I about to say, yeah, you going overseas too much, nigga.
No.
No, Franz Wagner.
Yeah.
Like, yo, you going overseas too much, nigga. Now you ain't not France.
France. But like, and you would still win. And if he goes to OKC, shit, that might be a finals team next year. It might be a finals team regardless. But like, if Klay wants to win, I get great. If you want to spend your career in Golden State, which and also the thing about that is like Golden State, I don't think if he got disrespected by the 3 years, $60 million, I don't think he's getting 3 years, $60 million from Golden State.
Yeah,
but I do think he could get from 2 years, $50 million from Orlando or maybe OKC because they just have the cap space to do it. And also, I mean, Klay comes with a certain cachet. You're gonna sell jerseys. It's still Klay Thompson. It's a household name. People know who he is, and you have a better chance to win in both of those situations. As far as Donovan Mitchell goes, problem with Donovan Mitchell is I don't know where you go. I think Cleveland is a cool situation for you. I think that maybe if you're Cleveland, maybe you don't like the Garing and Mitchell pairing. I think that if you're Cleveland, you probably try to do everything that you possibly can to hold on to Donovan, especially with his performance in the playoffs. I know they lost, but he was putting up 45, 50 balls, and he wasn't completely healthy. So I think you try to do your best to model that team around Donovan Mitchell because when I look at just like what's out there, unless he forces the trades, I don't know, LA, or maybe he wants to go to Brooklyn or something like that. Like, I don't really know. But going to Brooklyn, like, does that even put you in a better position than where you are right now if you're trying to actually win? Like, you can say he's turning 30, and I don't know how many more peak years Donovan Mitchell has left. So I think Donovan is a more interesting case. Like, I don't really know what to say about that. It kind of depends on what he wants to do. But Klay, I'm looking at Orlando and I'm looking at OKC as places where I would love to see Klay get to because I think that he could really make an impact on winning for both of those franchises.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of options there. It would be very, very funny to me if come October is like, and that guard, number 11 from Washington State University for your Chicago Bulls, Klay Thompson. That'll be Pig Bulls, nigga. Just to sell jerseys. just to sell the Klay Thompson jerseys, and this nigga averages 9 points a game, and they front load him. They give him a
Not
contract
gonna
he don't
average 9 points
deserve,
a game, man. Come on, bro.
like 90 million or something like that. That would blow me, but it wouldn't shock me either. But I do think there's gonna be some young team that's going to pay him what he wants. It just will not be in Golden State. Let's go to my number 4, and let's bang and Dante. Y'all ever anything y'all
No,
want to say on that? Okay.
No,
no,
good
no.
K
You
Thompson
good.
will be
Just
an Orlando Magic.
yeah, I think he'll be an Orlando Magic, but I would go to OKC. If he went to OKC, I think they'd be the favorite to win the title.
Especially after what they just got Caruso. We'll break that down in the local hour. But my number 4 storyline of the offseason to watch is the future of a former Bull, Mr. One Jimmy James buckets. Jimmy Butler, he's up for a contract extension, a massive contract decision. Extension. Now I'm not 100% sure that the Miami Heat want to pay him. But I think that I ultimately do think that Miami would pay him to stay because I don't know where else they go, and I feel like they've already invested enough in Jimmy. I think Jimmy is very beloved out there. Jimmy has 100% embraced the Heat culture. But it wouldn't shock me if he goes back to Philly. I think that's been a team that's been brought up a lot. You know, something that I feel that Philly has regretted choosing Tobias Harris over Philadelphia. I mean, over Jimmy Butler. We know Jimmy Butler still has a lot of love for Embiid. They're going to look for a running mate to go with Embiid. And I do think that that was a good pair when they were together for that very, very short time. So I'm very interested to see where he's going to land up. And I think it's going to change a lot bit about the balance of power in the Eastern Conference. I'm going to ask Bang you this question because I know you said you're anti-Heat culture. Do you think he's going to stay in Miami, or do you think he's going to be, hooping somewhere else?
I don't think there's a choice in the matter for Miami to have anybody else. I just think that they, Pat Riley being Pat Riley and Jimmy being Jimmy. But unless you plan to go younger, what you gonna do? Um, I don't think they're gonna do. If you lose Jimmy Butler, that's a wrap for the team. So they need Jimmy to stay relevant. They need him to keep them, playoff ready. So no, I think Jimmy Butler will be a Miami Heat this season and for the end of his career.
Pat, what you think about Jimbo?
I wouldn't want to pay Jimmy because he don't be playing basketball half the time. So I wouldn't want to pay him his money. But I mean, like Bang said, what choice do you really have? The problem with that is like the Heat are getting very close to that Bulls area where like you're not really that good, but you're not that bad. Like I don't think, granted, yes, they had a magical run 2 years ago when they went to the finals. But I don't think that's gonna happen every year. I think they'll probably be, and also the East is getting better, so I think that they'll probably be maybe fifth or sixth seed continuously. So I think that you're getting dangerously close to being where you don't want to be in the Eastern Conference. And I don't really see what other moves you can make. Maybe you can go get a Donovan Mitchell down there somehow. Maybe, I don't know. But I guess you got to pay Jimmy the money unless Jimmy literally says, I don't want to be here anymore. Trade me. Because we know how Jimmy acts when he wants to get traded, as Jeff T told the story. So, I mean,
Hilarious.
I don't know. Yeah, hilarious story. So, I mean, I don't know. Like, yeah, I wouldn't want to pay. I think Jimmy's, 35 now? Really wouldn't want to pay that man $65 million.
Hell no.
36 years old. Really would not want to do that. But like you said, if I'm the Heat, what choice do I really have unless I'm trying to like completely rebuild? And I don't think that Pat Riley wants to do that. So yeah.
Definitely not. We are about 10 minutes away from the local hour. Mike, you'll be joining us. We're going to be breaking down the Alex Caruso trade that brings the 69 God, Josh Giddey, over to the Bulls. We're going to talk about is a teardown on the horizon. Rumors of Zach LaVine might be going to Sacramento on a 2-team deal. The Chicago Cubs got blasted in Queens. Not in Queens, actually on the north side. By the boys from Queens, by the Mets, 11-1. We're going to talk about other chances to win an NL Central out the door. And then we're also going to talk about an article that came out from Tom Haberstraw. Shout out to Tom Haberstraw. I was on a Hoop Collective, not Hoop Collective, but True Hoops a couple years ago. Shout out to him. About is Michael Jordan's Defensive Player of the Year in 1988 fraudulent? We're going to talk about that later on too. But let's go to my topic, my storyline number 3 of the NBA offseason of things we need to pay attention to, and that is the New York Knicks. Knicks coming off an amazing regular season, finishing as the number 2 seed, making it to the second round, losing to the Indiana Pacers in a tough game 7 at the Garden. They were pretty much on their last leg. You know, Josh Hart was injured. Even they'd advanced to these conference finals. Jalen Brunson wasn't going to play after breaking his hand. A lot of things, big expectations over there in the Garden. But the question is, can they land another star? I don't know who's available, but can they land another star to add with the Jalen Brunson, to add with Josh Hart? I don't know I don't even know who's available, but I think that they need to try to get somebody. I want to say this in the most unhating way that I possibly can to New York Knicks fans, because as far as a lot of New York Knicks teams go, I actually thought last year's team was pretty enjoyable. They need to get one. You don't want to be stuck in the phase of you had a good team and maybe you overachieved a little bit. I do not believe they're capable of winning an NBA championship as constructed, no matter how much Knicks fans in their deluded minds want to convince you that they are. This is a superstar driven league. I think that Jalen Brunson is a star. I think he's great. I don't think you can win a championship with him as your number one, or at least not with a guy who's a number two who's on his same level. But if you do that, you have to have a team that's as deep as the Boston Celtics per se. And like we just talked about the Celtics, but their first 30 minutes, they're the measuring stick, and not just the Eastern Conference, but the NBA. What can you do to lap them? They'd got smacked up too. So I don't know if they can, but I do know that their front office has shown that they'll be active, and I think they'll put in calls to see who they can add to this to try to take to the next level. Because if not, I wouldn't be shocked if there's a little bit of regression next season if they can't keep the same roster. Pat, what do you think about the Knicks' chance to try to get a star and then try to take it to the next level so they just don't stay stagnant in that second round mode?
The thing about the Knicks is you can very easily fuck this all up by trying to go get a quote unquote star. I think maybe the play, if you could go get Mikal Bridges, I don't know how like realistic that is, but you go get Mikal Bridges, put all the Villanova guys together. But at the same time, like I don't know how you get that without giving up maybe something that you think was like a heart and soul of your team, for lack of better words, like a Josh Hart or somebody. I think that really you try to retain most of your guys. Obviously, Hargenstein probably will have some money out there waiting for him, so he won't be back. But maybe get another big. You get Randall. Like we forget Julius Randle wasn't healthy. Like Julius Randle is I know people laugh about Randle, but Randle is an all NBA level guy that wasn't there in the playoffs. So, and I think the OG thing is just smoke. Obviously, if you're gonna trade for OG, you kind of gotta pay him. I think he's a super guy. He's a star in his role for your team. Obviously, he has injury concerns, but when he's on the court, he's a star in his role for your team. So, I think it's a tricky off season for them because they could very easily take this and fuck it all up. But I think you kind of just got to keep trucking forward, man. Like, bring the guys back together and hope that you also have internal development, and guys can get better and stay healthy, and you can make a deeper run next season.
You need some water, nigga.
Yeah, you all right, Doc? You all right, Doc?
Like that. And we need to get Joel in the post. Damn. You sounded like me a month ago, nigga, bro.
Yeah, I was dying.
But let's go to my number 2 storyline, man. This is probably outside of my number 1 because obviously it's in that order. Pretty big. Mr. Paul George, he is gonna be an unrestricted free agent. Him and the Clippers are reportedly not on the same page as far as contract negotiations go. James Harden is also a free agent, but all people expect for James Harden to sign a multi-year contract with the Los Angeles Clippers to stay over there with Kawhi Leonard and Ty Lue with the new contract Ty Lue did, opening up the Intuit Dome over there in Inglewood. But the questions are, the certainty for Paul George isn't there. A lot of people are linking him to the Sixers. I was thinking the same thing, especially after his appearance on NBA Today, the NBA Finals halftime show a couple of days ago. But now we're hearing that the Sixers don't really have much interest in Paul George. And they're going to be looking elsewhere to try to add to Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. Maybe they heard his podcast where he was talking that I really don't really care about winning championship type stuff. PG is a very interesting fellow. I actually consider myself one of the actual few Paul George fans in my age, because a lot of the young niggas really love PG. I like PG. PG's a cool guy to me. I think he's really good. Who the internet just hates this nigga. But those comments definitely had me like, okay, this is why they slander you. I ultimately think that one of two things are going to happen. I think that he's either going to stay in Los Angeles, which I do probably, that's my favorite right there. I do think they're going to, him and Steve Ballmer, Lawrence Frank, all those guys are going to sit down and find a deal that works for both of them and keep him in Los Angeles. And I ultimately do think he wants to stay home. But taking the Sixers out of it, it would not surprise me if he made a return trip back to the Indiana Pacers. And I'm not 100% sure what the Pacers cap situation is, but we do know that he still loves Indy and they have a good team. And I think that'd be a good piece to add there as well. But once the smoke clears, I do believe that he will be back for the Clippers. Dante, I know you wanted to talk on this. What you think about this Paul George situation where he might end up?
I think Paul is another player that, the Orlando Magic should take a serious look at. I think, that's a team that needs a veteran presence to add to that young talent that they have. And I know, the knocks that we have on Paul George, but I think him going down to Orlando, with him saying what he said about, not really caring about championships and all of that, the pressure isn't there, but he will still have the team that's good enough for him to, make a run in the East. Will they knock off Boston? Probably not. But I think that's a situation that if you're Orlando and you're looking to add something to those young players, that Paul George is a guy you should definitely look at. If I'm Ballmer, as much as I, want to sell tickets into a dome, at the same time, we haven't had any success with this rendition of the Clippers. So we can let Paul go, and then we take that money and put it somewhere else. And I might be interested in looking at that because they're gonna make some moves and they're gonna still sell tickets. It's at least those first couple of years, you still got that new car smell with stadiums, and a lot of people are going to come out to see the Intuit Dome. So I think if, like I said, if I'm the Magic, I make a run at Paul George.
The Magic is actually an interesting team. I wouldn't mind that fit at all. I think that would be. I like that a lot more than I like Klay Thompson. Pav, you cover the team just like I did. What's your pulse on the situation? What do you think Paul George is going to ultimately win?
I think ultimately he's coming back. Like, I just can't see Paul George at this stage in his career. He's trying to do his media thing as well. He just started his podcast. Obviously, he was on TV doing the finals. I can't see at this stage in his career as a guy who's from LA, from Palmdale, has always wanted to play in California, who's playing in California, to leave and go to Orlando or to leave and go to Philadelphia. I just can't see it, but if it does happen, I actually have another team that I would love to see him on. I would love a sign and trade with Denver for Michael Porter Jr.
Ooh,
I think that now I doubt that actually would happen, but I would love a sign and trade.
We might have to stop league officers from that happening. That would be really good.
But I would love a sign and trade for Michael Porter Jr. for Paul George for Denver. I think if you want to upgrade one position on Denver, it's Michael Porter Jr. Because when he got to put the ball on the floor, oh my God, it don't work right. God, if he can't just catch and shoot, God bless. But ultimately, I think he comes back to LA. But if he doesn't, it has to be a sign and trade because I know what you said, Dante. But I think they're so deep in like the luxury tax that I don't know if they could even like use the money for real. That they would even like how much money PG would even create for that team.
Yeah,
how much they even use.
I think I read something that the Clippers just can't take that money and use it on something else.
Yeah, because they're so deep in like the tax. So I don't even know what's really the point in you even doing that. Like I think the best way, like granted, like I've started the 2K thing with the Clippers. I think the best way is to just re-sign them all and hope that in a couple years you can like trade them all off for like something in like the future. But yeah, I think the move is to just re-sign in LA. I just think that they got to figure out the number that they want. I think that PG probably wants the Kawhi number. The Clippers probably don't want to give him the Kawhi number, and that's probably where the discussion is. But I think that they ultimately figure out a number, and he's back in LA next season.
100%, man. Let's go to my number one NBA offseason storyline to get into that has to do with the James household. Mr. Raymond himself, LeBron James, who was last found dancing with his elbows in there at the Kendrick Lamar concert, like all the country. And his son, Bronny James, who was
God.
I know Pav don't want to talk about it, but we got to talk about it. My number one story, meet the Jameses. Where are they going? Where are they going? Is LeBron going to stay in LA for the last couple years of his career? Is he going to find his way somewhere else? Where is Bron? Bronny's the biggest name in the who are these niggas draft in 4 days. Are the Lakers going to take him at 55? We've heard rumors about Phoenix actually wanting him, that they have a plan to develop Bronny. Rich Paul came out and said that, Bronny and LeBron are not a package deal. We're not thinking about that. Which, come on, I love Rich Paul just doing his job, being a great agent. But it's like the same thing when he said that LeBron had nothing to do with the Lakers coaching search. I was born, but I wasn't born yesterday, my nigga. I'm not. I don't. I'm not buying that whatsoever. My personal opinion, I think both of these niggas end in LA. And that's just what it smells like to me. I think LeBron will announce he's come back to LA, probably a little short 2-year deal. And I'm not saying he will because LeBron's probably still and he doesn't know. But it also would not shock me if he tells me once this contract is over, I'm gonna actually finally retire. And then he can have these next couple seasons. Appreciate LeBron while he's here, and then he can really get the King Griffey Jr. and King Griffey Sr. Situation going on here. That's what I believe. Unfortunately, is the number one topic of the offseason. I actually got to give LeBron some love. The nigga's been in the league, 21 years, and he's still the topic of conversation. He still has his firm grip on franchise decisions, which we've never seen before. I'm going to get to all three of y'all in a minute because I want all y'all opinion before we bring Mikey in. But, Bang, I'm going to go to you first. What you think about where these two will go?
They're going to go wherever Bronny get drafted at. I think that's the plan. Because here's the thing. We keep talking all this shit about LA and the JJ Redick stuff and all of that. But if we listen to LeBron still wants to win a championship. Can he win a championship in LA? No. If he were to join the LA Clippers in some type of capacity, could they win it? Yes. Could Dallas win with LeBron James? Yes. I'm naming those two teams because I've seen things around Phoenix. Phoenix is one of the teams that he's worked out with. And Dallas is reportedly, allegedly interested in Bronny. So wherever Bronny goes, I think LeBron goes. Because there's no guarantee with the roster that they currently have right now that LA is going to be any better than they was last year. And we know that Bronny is not going to be a difference maker on any team. So why does it matter at this point? So that's where I'm at with it.
Dante, go ahead and then we'll close it out with Pat.
They're gonna ride off into the sunset in LA. I know we talk about how poorly managed the Lakers have been over the past 10, 15 years. Especially since Dr. Buss let go of the reins. And I think this is going to be one last terrible decision by the Buss family. And they're going to pick Bronny. They're going to give Bron his deal. And then we're going to see where it goes. So I think that's what's going to happen.
Shout out Damien in the chat. Bron still want a ring like I want Rihanna. Yeah, nigga, I want Maya Jama too. We not getting that. But Pav, I know your Bronny is one of your least people you like talking about. But where do you ultimately think these two are going to land?
They're all coming back to LA. They're all coming to LA. The thing about Bron is, people talking about, he's gonna leave and take this much money. Bron still wants his money. I guess he's been vocal about the fact that he wants a max. And if he's trying to buy a team in Vegas, he kind of need that money. He go kind of need that $60 million per year if he's thinking about buying a team in Vegas. That's probably gonna be the expansion team in a couple of years. So I think they're all coming back to LA. I just can't see the man saying, yeah, I want to leave Los Angeles, California for Dallas, Texas. I just don't think at this stage of his career he wants to do that. But we'll see. But if I had to place a bet, I think he stays here with the Lakers. And also the Lakers will be dumb to let the man go at the same time. Like, it's LeBron James. He sells jerseys. He sells tickets. Even if you do pick up Bronny, like, it's still a business. Like, you'll sell Bronny James jerseys or whatever. So you will sell Bronny James jerseys. You will actually sell Bronny James jerseys, bro.
They will, but they're gonna be rocking 12th man jerseys, which is nuts.
It's nasty, but like whatever.
It's gonna sell.
You're gonna sell James Jr. jerseys. He's gonna be the only 12th man ever to have his jersey on sale at the fucking team store in crypto.com arena.
You can hear the disgusting Pappy as
he's gonna be the only 12th man ever. But
the victory cigar.
LeBron, AD, Bronny in the case.
Bron, AD, Bronny. So I mean, yeah, I think they all end up coming back to LA, but like whatever.
We're about to do this. What'd you say? Oh, you said what's that's Atlanta in the background. But Pab, did you want to join us for the Caruso thing, or you got to do it?
Yeah, I'll talk about Caruso.
Okay, we're gonna take a quick break, then we're gonna bring Mikey in, and we're gonna start the local hour, man, as we wrap this final episode before our 2 week hiatus, man. We'll be back in a minute.
Triple double hat trick, I know the code too. Ice trade, go for trade, yeah we cold too. Getting paper on these player haters, old news, money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the
And we are back, with the boy, our guy Mikey. This is, as we like to call it, the local segment, the local hour, the Chicago
It's
sports.
the local hour.
There we go. I was waiting for you to hit the notes. You were too high on Monday to hit it, so we hit it today. The local hour, where we are all Chicago sports. If you don't want to hear us talk about Chicago sports, you might as well turn the dial off right
Who
now.
got the old Michael Jordan with the hair photo?
No, but that's on purpose. That's on purpose because we talking about 88 Mike. Yeah, we talking about 88 Mike, so I don't want to put old Mike on there.
Mike head out here
But
looking like mine currently right now.
we're gonna go into overtime today because we are at the 2.5 hour mark, but y'all ain't gonna hear from us for 2 weeks, so y'all will get over it because we're gonna take our 2 week hiatus. This is technically the season finale. We will be back on Friday, July 5th, as we begin our summer series called I'm Not Gonna Hold You. The off season will be each and every Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern time. We will be doing this up until week 1 of the NFL season. On Monday, September 9th, we will be back to our regular 2 episodes a week schedule. Mikey, y'all can follow him at Junior_Solito on Twitter. Mikey, how you feeling, brother?
I'm chilling, bro. What's the word? I'm over here at
doing
my
good.
OG. I'm at my OG's crib, so mine the core, the red freaky, the freaky ass red drapes and shit.
That's when you know you're at the mom's crib when you got the drapes in the background, the very colorful drapes. That's when you know
Mm.
you're at your folks' crib. What this nigga called Bronny Generation Z ML Carr. Don't disrespect ML Carr because he ain't gonna get as much minutes as ML Carr. Let's stop that right now.
So
Let's stop that right now.
He Black Jack Haley. He Black Jack Haley.
Black Jack Haley. That's who Bronny's gonna be. But let's get into it, man. The Chicago Bulls started their offseason last night as they officially made a trade with the Oklahoma City Thunder, who made it all the way over to the Western Conference semifinals, lost 6 games to the Dallas Mavericks. They are getting my guy, Mr. AC, Alex Caruso. He will be joining that great defensive tandem of him and Lou Dort over there in Oklahoma City. And the Bulls are getting back allegedly Freak man. Yeah, that's him. Josh Giddey will be joining the Bulls. Now, there's a lot of things about this. We've heard Joe Cowley. We've heard our guy Darnell Mayberry over at the Athletic saying that this could signal the end of the Lonzo Ball era, if it even was an era. Don't believe the things the Lonzo been telling me about. He's playing 5-on-5s. The nigga's not playing 5-on-5s, and it's looking like they're either going to waive or try to trade him this offseason. They said that the Bulls are going to be one of the most active teams in this offseason. There's been rumors coming out. Jake Fisher, reporter over there, says that it's looking more and more like Levine could land in Sacramento. Kevin Huerter, Harrison Barnes, names like that have been floated around that he could land in Sacramento in a 3-team trade between the Bulls and the Kings, some other team. DeMar DeRozan still up in the air. Still a lot of Bulls beat writers think that they're favoring towards him signing a big contract extension because he loves Chicago so much, loves playing here, and also the Bulls love him. He could be back, but there's a lot of things about them trading into the top 10 of the draft. A lot of rumors about the Bulls. My whole thing is this. The actual trade, my only beef with it is I feel like they could have got some type of pick in, even if it's a future pick or a 2027 pick. I believe with all the picks that the Oklahoma City Thunder have, there's no way that you can't get one, especially when you were going to get 2 first-round picks for them at the deadline. But Mr. Jerry Reinsdale said, I need to get that play-in money, my nigga. So just off that, I feel like that's what I was disappointed about. But if you take away the allegations, and I'm gonna say allegations because they did the case and they said they found no wrongdoing. And now I'm not saying what he did. I don't know what the nigga did. I'm just knowing that it don't smell right. But we just gonna go off what they're saying that he didn't do this. But If you're just looking at it from a basketball perspective, I don't hate his addition to the team because of what he brings. Yeah, he got exposed in the playoffs. This is a young team. They don't have the same expectations that the Oklahoma City Thunder does. So from that perspective, you take away the draft pick, I'm not really that mad at it. We'll get into the full plan of the Chicago Bulls in just a minute. Mikey, me and you had this conversation a little bit in the group chat yesterday. What's your thoughts on this particular trade, sending Caruso to OKC and Giddey to the Bulls?
I think if anything, I'm more upset that it goes back to the process, right? So I'm more upset that the organization was so short-sighted a couple months ago, back in January and February, that they had to like mandate that no, we cannot move off of Caruso for 2 first-round picks. That was OKC. OKC was offering 2 first-round picks back in February. Same exact team that we ended up dealing with now. But they were mandating that no, you have to make a run for the playoffs. And I just feel like it's super short-sighted because at the end of the day, what were they really vying for? They were vying to get their ass kicked, potentially, if they wanted to play in, which they didn't, potentially to get their head fucking kicked in by, the now NBA champs, the Boston Celtics. So I think like that's what bothers me most. Now you can go down so many different layers. Now, one, do we trust this regime with draft picks? No. But I understand that you need to acquire assets for the future. I agree with you. It could have been a 2027 pick. It could have been a 2026 pick, a 2028 pick. Everybody is kind of holding on to those 2025 picks. You got guys like Ace Bailey, Dylan Harper, Cooper Flag coming out. I know it's being more regarded as a better draft next year. So you couldn't find a way to pry one of those. So that's my issue there. If we go to the actual player, the swap for swap, I kind of like the Josh Giddey fit, but I like it now. I need to see the overall roster overhaul that they do in a couple weeks and a month. Let me know, holla at me in September, like when we see what this roster looks like going to camp, because he can do everything that Lonzo can, but he cannot play defense nowhere near what Lonzo can. He can't even really play defense. He can't fucking shoot the 3. So those are 2 major deficiencies. He's not really that consistent at the free throw line. Yeah, he got better the last 24 games of the regular season, but now you're talking about somebody that's like, is he going to even be on the floor, to close out games? So I like grabbing youth. I like grabbing somebody that can go ahead, pass the ball. You can't.
Yeah,
what?
That was crazy.
My bad.
That was nuts. Grabbing
that's nuts.
Yeah,
in this segment, we're talking about Josh Giddey too, man.
Hey, I like grabbing. I like grabbing more youth on the team and getting away from. I wouldn't keep DeMar. I would move Vooch. Like I'm cool with doing this overhaul because I would like to see what it looks like with Giddey running the point, running the floor. You got Kobe on the wing, Kobe IO. That's nice, but this has to signal, the start of kind of a retooling.
Pav, I'm gonna go to you, man. I know you put on the Hoops and Brews page that you don't hate it. What's your take on the deal?
I think it's a great trade. I think that picks are kind of okay. I know people. You could have got 2 first-round picks, right? But any team that's giving you picks is probably a contender. Meaning you're gonna have 2 late-round picks. Meaning the late-round picks you get are probably never gonna be a player as good as Josh Giddey. Granted, I know Josh Giddey had his struggles in the playoffs, but at the same time, OKC was kind of shifting away. Shea was coming into his own. But Josh Giddey is still 16, 6, and 6 on the worst night. And that was him not even handling the ball that much last season. I think with the Bulls next year, he damn near might win most improved player. He might go up to like 18, 9, and 8 next year. Like Josh Giddey is freaky shit aside. Josh Giddey is a really good basketball player. You talk about
freak man.
And you talk about I know, Mikey, you mentioned future assets. This is a future asset. He's 21 years old. How many times do you get to get a top 10 lottery pick who's 21-year-old for Alex Caruso? Shout out Caruso, but motherfucker act like Caruso is Joe Dumars.
Yeah.
Right.
He ain't that damn good though. Like, so you granted, I think it's a great trade. But I think it's a great trade if you're going into a new direction. I swear to God, if you make this trade and you sign DeMar for 120 million, they need to be jailed. You need to trade everybody and just run out there, get everybody. I don't want nobody on the team left. Get everybody out of here and just run out there. Um, Giddy, Kobe, Io, whoever the hell else, and just start anew. Get Zach out of here. Get Vooch out of here. Don't even
Yeah.
stop picking up the phone for DeMar. God bless him, but stop picking up the phone for the man. DeMar, you also need to go want to win. Take your ass somewhere else. I know you like Chicago. It ain't that great of a city. Take your ass somewhere else and do something else somewhere else. So for me, I love the trade. I like the trade. I think that they made out well. I think it's probably one of the better moves that they've made. Again, so yeah, I like when I looked at that first, I was like, oh, you couldn't get a draft pick, but I'm like, bro, you're not getting OKC not gonna trade you the Clippers pick,
Right.
which like the 2028 Clippers pick, which might be a great pick. No, they're gonna probably trade you Denver's top 5 protected pick, which is gonna be like the 30th pick in the draft. How many times the 30th pick in the draft even make they make the team, but how many times do they become a impactful player? Like you're probably not gonna get somebody who's as good as Josh Giddey. And I think the picks thing have become some of the most overstated things in basketball because most of the picks never become as good as the player that you have a chance to acquire actually is.
Or even when you
Uh,
say that, take it, look at it from this scope. Is who the Bulls are going to draft at pick number 11 better than Josh Giddey? No. We already know that this is going to be a weak draft. So grabbing Josh Giddey right now and is already better than whoever will go at pick 11. So I agree with you there. Like you're taking a chance on somebody that's young that you can build around and see what he got. You're probably going to go ahead and, he's got the leverage now because they traded Caruso for him. And I'm sure he's going to want to get paid. I want to know what this means for somebody like Patrick Williams, though.
Fair.
well, let's just get into that topic now, man. Talk about which kind of what both you guys alluded to. Like, does this signal a teardown? Now, I hope to God it does because I'm with you. I love DeMar. And actually, I was not a DeMar DeRozan fan before he came to Chicago. It was very noted. I became a DeMar fan when he came here. I believe he's a likable guy. I love everything he does off the court. And he just seems like a genuine dude. And he's given us some fun moments as a bull. And that's just something that I feel like it's been fun the last couple of years, but we're talking about the growth of this franchise. They need to do something that they've been avoiding doing for the last couple of years, and that is rebuilding and starting from scratch. I know rebuilds, especially in basketball, are not fun. To I just saw that text. They were not. It is not fun to do in basketball, but it's something that they need to do. Now, the real question here for me and for a lot of Bulls fans, are these the niggas you trust to actually do a rebuild? I don't trust Arturas Karnisovas and Westside West, who just got a contract extension, by the way. As we continue to ask a question on this show, what does he do? I don't trust them to actually build a team that can have growth and actually compete again. I'm tired of play-ins. I'm tired of making the playoffs. This team, and I saw this. This is gonna go on a little mini rant, but I was thinking about this after the Celtics won the championship, and I saw Bulls fans tweet, "Oh, I can't wait for it to be the Madhouse again." My nigga, hear me and hear me clearly. It's not happening. Look, it took a while for me to accept it. I probably didn't accept it like 2 years ago, but I accepted it. The Bulls are never going to be the franchise that they were in the 90s. And honestly, they weren't a great franchise then. They just had Michael Jordan. These niggas almost traded Scottie Pippen for Sean Kemp. So there's been also bad things that they've done as well to be able to get to that of starting over from scratch, building an actual program. I don't have faith that these niggas can do that. So that's my question isn't, are they going to do a rebuild? Because I think this kind of signals that. And I think once Zach gets traded, the DeMar thing is the big domino because as far as all the Bulls beat reporters have said, they still expect him back. But that to me is going to be a big question: is can they lead a rebuild? Because in a couple of years that we've had AK and West, these niggas are worse than guard packs. I'm gonna go to Bang first, man. Bang, what do you think about what the Bulls are doing? Does this trade signal anything to you, or this is just let's just get Caruso off and let's continue to maybe build this team a little differently just to make the play in again?
Nah, this feels like rebuild. Like Pav said, when you step back and you think about the trade, you're getting a player that's probably going to be better than whoever you draft. Even at that spot that they could have got one of those picks, I think what they own like the eighth pick or something like that. Now for OKC, it's like, yo, we could replace Giddy with another younger player, and do the same thing. But nah, like this for the Bulls in their perspective, you're probably getting two lottery picks. You're getting a lottery pick for Caruso, and then you'll have what they got the 11th pick. So you got that right there. This does signal to me the end of the Lonzo Ball era, and rightfully so. The dude ain't played for about 2 years, so it's like, what do you expect there? But also, it doesn't seem like DeMar DeRozan is long for the franchise too. So I expect to see a sign and trade. I expect the Bulls to get something, when it comes to DeMar DeRozan. That way, DeMar could get the most for value that he can, and they could get somebody back. So I can expect the team, whatever team that is interested in the services. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if Philly is not interested in DeMar DeRozan if they don't get Jimmy, and they're not going to go after Paul George. So I can expect for them to get something back from Philly. And then you have, do we pay Pat Williams? And in this case, you probably do. Like, I don't see if this is the route that you're going, I don't see no reason why you don't bring him back. And then you look at Vooch's, then you now have to look at Vooch's, tenure with the team, and if that's coming to an end. Now the Zach thing, Sacramento Kings, and what people are saying, you're bringing back another not quite young asset in Kevin Herter. Have you pronounced his last name? But he's
You
somebody
pronounced
that
it
if
right.
healthy, okay, there you go. That could contribute off the bench. Do they do they do they get Harrison Barnes and then buy out his contract? I don't know. But getting Zach off of the books is also a clear indication of a tear down and a rebuild. And then I also believe that this is not the draft for you to try to go after multiple lottery picks. This ain't it. Next year is the time that you at least want to try to get a top three pick. So I do think the Bulls want to put themselves in a position to get one of those. And I'll hot take this right now. I believe that the Bulls will have the number one pick in the NBA draft next year. It's about time for that to happen.
Cooper
So
flag on
Adam
Madison.
Silver, go ahead and make that happen, Adam
Yeah.
Silver.
And
So
also if they need to be top 10. If not, their pick goes to the Spurs next year for the DeMar trade. So,
yep,
say if they finish 11th like they are this year. Say you bring back DeMar, right? DeMar's a hooper. DeMar's good enough to win us some games that we got no business winning, and DeMar's good enough to, the Bulls will still be bad enough that we don't go past the play in. So now you're in that same spot, 11, 12, 13. And guess what? That first round pick in a better draft class is going to the San Antonio Spurs. So they almost got to tank this year or just be bad.
Yeah, man. Dante, you go ahead and then Pavi. We'll wrap it up and get Pavi out of here.
Boy, you know how I feel about the Bulls. Fuck them. I hope it's a rebuild, but I mean, it doesn't matter when you got two idiots running the show and an owner that don't want to spend money and has told them not to spend money. So no, I mean, only thing we can pray for is that they catch lightning in a bottle, they trash, and we get Cooper Flag. But other than that, I have nothing positive to say about the Bulls, and that's not gonna change for a while.
Be trash and hope you get the white man. What have we come to? Pav, go ahead, man. Which do you think? Well, you just said the Bulls, they should be a rebuild. Do you have faith in them executing a successful rebuild? Is the question I got for you.
Yeah. The Bulls usually put together at least decent teams. Like the Bulls don't ever suck for that long. They just ain't never actually that good. They don't never suck though. Like they usually at least have playoff teams. So yeah, I think that they can fix this thing. I mean, it's the NBA. Like you can get good pretty quickly. I mean, look at OKC. Granted, OKC is probably the model of a rebuild, like the best possible way it could possibly go. But I think they could be back in the playoffs in 2028 if they do it right. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, again, get Zach off the book. Fuck who you get back. Just get him off the team and just get like some 1-year deals back so you can get the salary. Vooch may be somebody you may have to look to trade in season. Like I think he actually may start the season on the Bulls roster just because I think trading him might be a little bit hard. He might be a trade deadline guy, but I don't think Vooch being on the team is going affect winning too much at this stage of Vooch's career. But yeah, as far as Patrick Williams go, I think Patrick Williams, the money he gets depends on what somebody else is willing to offer. If somebody wants to play crash dummy and offer him, I don't know. I don't think this will happen. But 4 years, 90 million. Patrick Williams has been. You have been. Yes, your service has been great. We are not matching this.
No longer needed.
But if Pat want to come back for, I don't know, 350, 3 for 50, I could do that for you. But yeah, yes, I think they can rebuild. I think they should rebuild. And again, I really, really hope that this trade was the start of the rebuild, because it's not going anywhere. It's not working. And again, the worst place you want to be in the NBA is just decent. You either want to be competing for a championship or you want to suck. So we'll see what they do, but I think they're on the track to making the right decisions.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Orlando in the chat. He hit it pretty well. I've told Dante this many times. He said, crazy how Dante hates the Bulls, but still holds out for the Wolves. two cheeks on the same ass.
I don't hold out hope for shit. I just love baseball. So I mean, it's hey, shout out to the top 7 farm system in baseball. Fuck Orlando.
Right. The only thing the Bulls are top at is just selling tickets. That's it. Because people like Orlando keep showing.
That was a stealth joke right there, Mike. Yeah, I got it. But we're gonna get Pavy up out of here, man. You can follow Pavy at Pavy World on all social media platforms. Visit pavverbs.com. Check out the latest episode of Courtesy the Bachelor, episode 2, which was directed by your boy Scott Singleton. Nigga, I'm trying to get a couple more stuff going on. But Pav, anything you want to Pav, you want to say anything before you get up out of here, man?
Yeah, check out all my music. Working on the project, it's almost done, so shout out that. Yeah, like you said, you can find everything at Pavy World. Check out Spotify, whatever else, Pavy, wherever else you would like to find music, go play all that. And yeah, it's always fun being on with you guys.
And let's give Pav a round of applause for completing his year of NBA coverage on this show and making us football heads look smarter. Let's give him a round of applause. There we go, Pavy Lakers. So, Pav, we will holler at you, my G.
All right, man.
All right, yo. But before I want to close with baseball, because I want to get Bang's opinion on this before we bore him for a couple minutes talking baseball. So look at me, being nice, giving you out here. But something came across my feed the other day. I am a very avid supporter of Dan Le Batard. That's my favorite sports show. Like, period. That's the only sports show I will sit down and watch all 2.5 hours every day. Like, them niggas had me watching actual hockey coverage the other day. But Tom Haberstraw, who was a guest on the Oddball podcast, was me, Hassan, and Charlotte Wilder, which is on the Le Batard Network. And he did some intensive research on Michael Jordan's 1988 Defensive Player of the Year season, where he also won MVP. He's the last NBA player to do that. And using that, how a lot of people use that as their barometer or like their measuring stick outside of the undefeated 6-0 record in the NBA Finals, is kind of like their calling card to say he's better than LeBron. He did a little bit more research, sat down with a lot of people. And if you want to check this out, it's on the Le Batard and Friends Network. Check it out. I'm giving them a shout out, even though they don't pay me, but I think it was an interesting viewer to watch that. But you can get more in depth. I'm just gonna kind of recap it. Of what he said was that a lot of the scorekeepers back in the scorekeepers still stay here, are hired by the teams, and that this particular scorekeeper was helping Michael Jordan know what records would be broken. It would even tell, you a couple assists away from this. So apparently a lot of the steals a lot of the blocks and steals that Michael Jordan had in 1988 really weren't actually there. They weren't actually counted, and that they were added later on. And so they did extensive research and said there was one game, like out of the 20, I think they went through he had 28 steals at home or something like that. And in reality, it was only 12 of them. And they even had a video on the NBA YouTube where Michael Jordan had 35 points and 12 steals. In reality, he only had 6 steals, which, by the way, is still nuts. And basically saying how now we kind of have to look at that fraudulent a little bit. I thought it was a pretty interesting article. As much of a staunch Michael Jordan supporter as I am, I'm gonna get y'all opinion in a minute. But me personally, I don't care. And there's a couple reasons why I don't care. One, we can't go back in time and change it. If you look at the way they voted things, there was nobody even close to him in the Defensive Player of the Year vote. If you want to talk about LeBron Defensive Player of the Year, I still don't think LeBron ever should have been Defensive Player of the Year. Now, do I think Marc Gasol should have won that year, especially when he didn't even make the Defensive First Team? No. So I do feel like LeBron has a little argument in there, but at that point, we just arguing what we always argue with Michael Jordan and LeBron James, and that's hypothetical situations because we don't know. I don't think that puts a chink in the armor of anything because I feel like both sides, if you are a staunch Michael Jordan supporter like I am, there's nothing that LeBron can do to pass Michael Jordan in your eyes. There's nothing that anybody can tell you about what Michael Jordan did in his past and what he didn't do in his past. If you're a staunch LeBron James supporter and you believe he's the GOAT, there's nothing I could tell you that you're going to agree with, and there's nothing anybody else can agree. So while I do think it was an interesting article to read, or interesting video to read, and I give Tom Haberstroh some love on the actual research he did, because you actually read the actual article. I was just summarizing it, but it's a lot of other stuff in this. Very deep investigation, very FBI-like. But me personally, I don't care, and I don't think the majority of fans really care about this. I don't know if you guys watched the video. I sent it in the group chat, but I don't know if you guys watched it. I'm going to go to you, Mikey. Did you know about this, and do you care?
I didn't know about it until you sent me the video, and I actually didn't like really click on it, but my boy Cake sent it to me today. Then with the LeBron gif where he was taking off the Cavs jersey and he's kind of smiling. For me, I really don't care, but like I don't care about that. It was so long ago. Like, what the fuck they're gonna do? They're not gonna take it away. But it does shine a light on something that is more frequent now and something that I do care about. And that's like the in-house statisticians. Like, as somebody that gambles, like you're at liberty, you're basically you're beholden to the in-house statistician for that game. They can rule whether that's an assist or not. Like, I've been watching basketball forever. I thought it, I could see something. I'm like, that's an assist, that's a steal. But the in-house statistician will say, no, that's not, or credit it to somebody else. So for me, like, that's something that, like, now with gambling being so heavily promoted, the league being, in a partnership with, like, that is something that I think more eyes should be on. And like, there should be kind of like a barometer for, like, there should be a checks and balance on that, because shit like this can happen. So imagine, like, back in the day, like, you're telling me these MJ stats, like, some of these numbers are egregious. Like, they gave them, like, how are you like off by double digits, So like, for me, like,
crazy.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff is just like hold on, like that's too far. Like, okay, it's like when you work in the register, you counting your till and you short $1.50, $2, manager's not gonna care. But wait, hold up, like, you off by 100? Where's the 100? So I really don't like care about it as it pertains to that. But like, as far as how stats are tracked now in sports, it really is gotten crazy, especially with gambling. And I've noticed, like, I've lost some money on some shit that was clear as day an assist, clear as day a rebound, but you're beholden to that in-house statistician. And like, so that shit, it does happen. It happens more frequently than we know. If you're not really like looking for it, you're not gonna catch it. But it does happen, and I hope that something like this kind of like just brings more awareness to it, and there is a checks and balance that's implemented, because this shit is still happening like today.
Yeah. Yep. And dude basically admitted, not to cut you off, Don. Dude basically admitted, like, yeah, nigga, I did it. And what?
Yeah.
No, as baseball fans, Mikey, we see it all the time. You'll see a guy get a hit and like, bro, that was an error. Or it's 100%. Like, it's a play that should have been an error. They give him a hit. Like, baseball.
But because they're at home.
Shit up. Yeah,
right. But because they're at home, exactly. Or if you're, you Ronald Acuna to get a hit, but they're playing in New York, up in Queens, and they rule the error. It's like, hold on, it's just because this is a division rival and shit. But no, 100%, I agree with you.
Very shaky book taking across the book, and that's when you add the money into it with all of these gambling outfits that are now in bed with the league. Like, shit gets shaky. So it's gonna be interesting to see how it happens and how everything unfolds, because we're seeing players lose their careers over $50 bets and shit. So I think it's only gonna get worse.
Bang, man. I had a joke. I had an age joke for Bang, but Bang said next time he see me, he's gonna put me in the headlock if I do that. So I don't want him to get my ass whooped. So
he 2 for 2. He 2 for 2 with these with between you and I. Like he got it coming. It's a SOS. It's a SOS.
Bang on some other stuff, but Bang, what do you think about?
Scott. That's crazy.
I apologize for that, Mikey.
Bang said I can't come out west. Bang said I can't come out west.
Shit, I can't come out west. I live in Plainfield. Shit.
Shout out to Jay Hood in the chat. He said I've seen coaches go to the press box to confront the score.
100%. 100%. You see that all the time. And like Dante said, you know, as baseball fans, we see it all the time. But in basketball, it's gotten really bad over the last couple of years, especially with gambling. So it's something that definitely needs more eyes on.
So, Bang, what you think about this topic? Your mic ain't plugged in again. That's the second time, but you know, we gonna let it rock.
Oh my God, I hit that damn button by mistake right here. It's a button. It's a button like right here. It's red. Go see that shit?
Yeah.
Button right there. But my bad. But no, I care. And the reason why I care is because we ain't gotta inflate shit to inflate greatness. Like we ain't gotta do shit to inflate greatness. Michael Jordan had a great season that year. No matter how you slice it. So when you put that extra on there, it's like, yo, what are you doing all that for? With that being said, I don't care enough to dampen somebody's season. Like, just make sure you do it right. I just don't think that is something that needs to be done. But yeah, it does happen. Like I've missed out on parlays because I'm like, yo, that was a rebound. What are you talking about? I missed out on some big money for some shit like that, which is why I have scaled back on betting on certain things because of certain qualifications. But it's also fun to look at. It goes back to the content side. I haven't gotten a chance to watch it fully because work been heavy. But when you sent it in the chat and you had said something about it, it's definitely on my list like it's a Netflix documentary. Because I want to be able to go back and look online and see where it might have been inflated, what specific game it might be, like what happened here to make this go. I'm interested in that. So yeah, while it's disappointing, it's not going to change anything. But yeah, I want to get my joints off and see what's going on.
Yeah, man, it's definitely a good read, definitely a good video. If you haven't checked that out, definitely check it out, man. So. Bang, you are officially on show vacation. I want to personally give all of y'all, I know Courtney's not here, but I want to give all of y'all a round of applause. We have completed our first.
Cash App us.
Oh no, that's not going to happen. Eventually, we will all be having good, beautiful houses. Wherever it's set when this show makes big time. But I want to give y'all three, and I will give Courtney her flowers next time she's on the show for joining me. We have completed a full sports season doing this show. A year ago, it was just me. So I appreciate all y'all for what y'all brought to the show. We have not done it, could not have done this without y'all, man. So I just wanted to give y'all that, especially Bang, before you go off on your vacation, before we come back in 2 weeks to do our summer show. So just wanted to say that, Bang.
Vacation is PTO.
It's 2 weeks is technically vacation. If you got a 9 to 5, a regular job, any job, you take 2 weeks off, nigga, that's vacation.
This summer school break. This summer school break. This summer school break.
Summer school break.
Nigga, I still got 6 shows to record. This ain't no fucking break. What are y'all talking about?
Me and Dante got a lot of Patreon stuff to do, and actually, me and Bang gonna be doing something special too. So I guess it's not a break from recording. And then
we gotta do a hot corner next week. We got a hot corner next week.
It's a break from the show. It's not a break from.
It's a break for Scott, nigga. What are you talking about? It's a break for Scott.
It's not a break for me. I got to do the Entourage Pod twice next week. We got to do Game of Thrones. We got to do what's called Summer Sessions. I gotta produce Hot Corner. I got a busy week next week too. I just ain't got to sit down and look at stats and like, oh, I'm gonna do this in this hour and this hour. So yeah, it's a little looser. But Bang, anything you want to say before you get up out of here?
No, man. Hey, look. as we go on this vacation and everything, hey, congratulations to all of us on a full sports year. Shouts out to Courtney as well and everybody who's jumped on. But outside of that, man, we got a new episode of First Black Champ that's out. We got a new episode of some dude that is out right now. The C's got it. We game banging a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, y'all make sure y'all go ahead and check that out. And we got more coming.
Yes, sir. Bang. We will see you on Tuesday for summer sessions. As the first hour of the show is all Kendrick. I want to get real behind inside baseball on summer sessions because that first hour could have been an hour and a half. There's more stuff we want to talk about. There's a tune in to summer sessions because I want to get Pav opinion, and we know Merck's gonna bring some introspective about why that kind of show couldn't happen in Chicago. So we'll talk about that on Tuesday, man. So bang, man. Enjoy your time off.
I will, boss. Thank you. I appreciate that.
We're gonna wrap up this episode of the pod of the show with talking some baseball, man. We're gonna talk about a team that neither three of us are fans of, and I also think that all three of us are enjoying what we've been watching from this team. Even though I am not a practicing White Sox fan, I still like watching the Cubs lose. The Cubs got absolutely lambasted today at Wrigley Field, 11-1 by the New York Mets. They are currently, hold on, my MLB app froze a little bit. Right here we go. They're currently 36-40. They are 4-6 in their last 10. They are 8.5 games out of first place, Milwaukee Brewers. But this is just how bad that the National League is. They are only a game and a half out of the final wild card spot in the National League. A lot of Cubs fans had at least the beginning of the offseason, we're talking a lot, saying, oh, we got, Craig Counsell, we're about to go on a run and spend money, and they did none of that. And I also find it very hilarious that you stole the Brewers' great coach, and them niggas still beat you. But a lot of fans, a lot of unrest. Jed Hoyer is not paying the $5. It feels like they're going nowhere and going nowhere fast. But as we all know in baseball, if you are within, this kind of range, you still have a chance to get back in, especially with a wild card. I'm going to go to Mikey first. You saw what we saw at Wrigley today. I'm not going to post that comment
that shit is crazy.
Wild as fuck.
Very crazy comment. I will not be putting in there. But Mikey, what do you think about the Cubs' chances to make a postseason run?
Oh, well, like you said, the NL wild card, now with the implementation of the third wild card spot, they'll still have a chance there. But this is where it gets interesting. The Mets were absolute dog shit for the first half of the season up until about 2.5 weeks ago, up until Grimace threw the first pitch. Out at over there at what is it, Citi Field now?
Yeah, Citi Field.
So as a team that was heavily linked to Pete Alonso, what are you going to do now that the Mets have surpassed you in the wild card hunt? They possibly, I think, are going to take this series and probably take 2 out of 3 from the Cubs. So now the Mets are going to be kind of in that spot. If they can keep playing this kind of ball and keep getting the production from JD Martinez and Pete Alonso, those were both guys that were, some viewed as summer deadline movers, and, the Cubs being interested on those bats. Like, now where are you going to go shopping? Those teams, the Padres were kind of like down in the dumps for a little bit, and they started surging. They had a bad week last weekend, and with the Mets, and they got swept. They had a bad week with Philly, but now they're starting to kind of get it back together. Fernando Tatis is hitting the shit out the ball. So the Cubs find themselves in a very, very precarious situation because there's no help coming anytime soon. There is nobody coming up that is going to shore up their bullpen issues. There's nobody coming up. I mean, I don't know why they don't call up, Canario, but that's neither here nor there. You can use a bat like Alexander Canario in the outfield, but instead you bring up somebody like Miles Mastrobuoni. We have seen what these guys continuously do. The Miles Mastrobuonis, the Nick Madrigals, the David Bodis, they should not be playing right now. They should not be playing on a team that has aspirations for competing in a, weak NFC or NL Central. The Brewers still have pop. The Brewers still, they're looking at getting Devin Williams back. You know, you slide in somebody like McGill to the eighth inning role for them. So I don't see a way that the Cubs can go ahead and bridge the gap in the division. And then when it comes down to the wild card, I mean, you have the Braves. I think the Braves will be there as that first wild card team. They're starting to hit the ball. They're literally defecating on Carlos Rodon right now up in the Bronx. You've got St. Louis, who's playing pretty. St. Louis is starting to play that ball that that we expected. You got a shortstop like Mason Wynn. He gets on base, and then you got some boppers behind them. What they're getting out of Palante in the rotation, that was a reliever converted to a spot starter now. You know, Sonny Gray has been pitching really well from them. And then you have more potent offenses in front of you in San Diego. San Diego has a more potent offense and rotation. They should be getting Yu Darvish back, I believe, early next week. I know he had a rehab start this week, and they said that that's it. He'll be coming up next week again. You should be getting Joe Musgrove back. They went and picked up Dylan Cease. We know they're buyers. We know that they were linked to, Garrett Crochet. So I just don't see the Cubs having enough offense. I don't see them having enough bullpen pitching to keep them in games. I think this is the team that we're going to see. I think they're going to flirt with being within that 1.5 to 2 games back of that last wild card spot for the rest of the summer, but I don't see them getting over the hump.
Dante, what you feel about the lovable losers? That's what they still will forever be to me. What you think about what they're doing?
I mean, this is what happened when you don't spend the money. I mean, they went the cheap route. They went the Craig Counsell route. We're gonna see what he can do with the young talent, how much he can squeeze out of this situation. And you've seen, there are major holes. There are major holes that won't be filled by simple call-ups. You know, they should have made more. They should have been more aggressive in free agency. Even if you don't go get Shohei, obviously, committing $700 million to somebody, whether you defer it or keep it, season by season, is a lot of money. So not wanting to do that, I understand it. But there were plenty of other players out there that you could have went after. Like Mikey said, the Pete Alonso shit is dead. Chapman at the beginning of the season at third base. You decided to go with Madrigal, which we said from the jump. Not even on some hater White Sox fan shit. It's just the fact that he's not that good. It's just the situation is what it is. So you tried to do what you could with that, and now you're looking at a hole over there. Morel, he's okay, but I mean, like you said, I can't even call it disappointment, because I mean, I feel like really more than anything, this was a team that reached their peak or their pinnacle with the players that they had, and it's like
right.
you were banking on certain prospects to come through and hit, and it hasn't happened. So when you haven't spent that money to offset it, this is what you're gonna get. So it's gonna be a lot of this for the Cubs. They are right with the White Sox as being one of the worst teams in baseball.
And I'll say this. I won't say that they're not spending the money, because they are top 10 in payroll. They're 9th right now. I think they're just allocating their dollars incorrectly, improperly. They're not spending it the right way on the right type of players. Ian Happ should not be getting $20 million a year. Cody Bellinger and Scott Boras, like, they got their card pulled, and we're seeing now why nobody was willing to give them, that ridiculous offer that they were looking for. Actually, all of Boris's guys, to be honest, Chapman, Snell, and Bellinger, and I know Jordan Montgomery's starting to come back, but they're not really doing shit. But you got a team, like, just for payroll example, the Padres are spending $162 million, right? That's their payroll for this year. The Cubs are paying $226, but look at the guys that are on the Padres, and they still had the prospect capital. They still had the balls to go and make an in-season trade for a Luis Arraez. Why are the Cubs so short-sighted? Why can't they go and get somebody like Luis Arraez? Luis Arraez was a second baseman. Do you know what he's playing for San Diego right now? He's playing first base. When you get good players and you get people that can get on base, people that can put the ball on play and set the table for your power guys, you do anything to get those guys in the lineup. So why wouldn't you go after Luis Arraez, throw him at first base, put Cody Bellinger out there in center field? PCA is just not ready. I mean, he can play defense and he's got some wheels, but he cannot hit at this level. So it's like, you look at the Padres and you think of the names: Tatis, Profar, Cronenworth, Machado, Arraez. You got some guys, not to mention all of the money they spent on their rotation. Musgrove, they got Dylan Cease, they acquired him. We know he's cheap. Yu Darvish, they just gave him an extension. And look at that. Like, they spent less money, but they spent it the right way. They spent it on actually quality players that should be playing, players that actually make a difference. The Cubs are out there throwing. Mike Tauchman for a while was their best hitter. Like Mike Tauchman is a fourth to fifth outfielder on any team that's actually competing for anything, in MLB. So it's very short-sighted. And anytime that you make a move that you say, oh, the manager's going to change it, I'm sorry, I don't see Craig Counsell out there playing second base anymore. I don't see him out there with the lefty stick, getting on base and setting it up for Suzuki. Like the managers, I understand that he manages the way a certain game, but he's showing right now that it's not that much of a difference. They're actually worse than what they were with David Ross, and this is the same team.
Yeah. I'll close with this. I think all of y'all brought great points. I agree with all of y'all. I think that the division is cooked, and not that I think it's a good division. I actually think it's a pretty bad division, and I don't think that I think the Brewers smell like first playoff weekend exit as well. But I do think that they'll fake the ending because of the wild card race and how bad it is. I'm gonna compare this to the Bulls. I think this is gonna be one of those fake play-in runs, and I do think that if they do make a wild card series, that they're going to be out very, very quickly, but I think they're not going to make it. I think it's going to kind of be like what it was last year, maybe even a little worse than last year, because you thought they were going to improve on the things they did last year when they had absolutely no expectations. And Mike, you hit the nail on the head. I do think there was a couple trade options before these last couple weeks, before the Padres got hot again, before the Mets got hot again. Now that all those are off the table, if you're Jed, you kind of screwed the pooch. And it goes back to the Bulls, to the Bulls situation. Well, they screwed it with Caruso, and now they had to settle for a trade with no draft picks. Now you're either going to get some underwhelming people that you're going to add to your team, or you're going to go past the trade deadline with nothing to hope that you magically have a closer that can actually close games, score more runs than you thought you were going to do. I just think this is going to be a very disappointing team for the Cubs. This has nothing to do with my Cubs hate. It's just poor, and it's just kind of continuing the Chicago sports front office ownership who don't really care about things. This is going to be a long summer. So my advice to y'all is, even though other teams is going on, watch Angel Reese play. The Scott stink, but she good. Get ready for training camp. We are about a month away from Bears training camp. That's what
Get those HBO Max logins. Start getting them free trials. Start, you know what I'm saying? If you got to run it back with a shorty that got it and you don't got it, start getting ready for Hard Knocks, because baseball this summer is not going to be enjoyable unless you're on MLB TV watching elsewhere.
I mean, yeah, you hit the nail on the head. Yeah, Orlando, you put it there. That's how you're gonna wrap this episode. Please don't be ass, Caleb. My life depends on it. My life is in your hands, Caleb Williams. I see you out here getting doing your thing at the Louis Vuitton show. Please don't suck. For my sanity, I can't allow that. But that is all we have got for y'all today on the season finale of season 4 of I'm Not Gonna Hold You. We'll be back in 2 weeks for the summer soldiers. You can see right here, man. I'm Not Gonna Hold You. The off season will be debuting July 5th. That is a Friday after the 4th. We know you're gonna be hungover. You're gonna be eating your leftovers from your barbecue the night before. Come out, and we probably gonna have a lot to talk about. NBA free agency, things like that. We're gonna be doing division breakdowns each week. We're gonna break down all 8 divisions in the NFL. We're gonna get you right. That's each and every Friday, starting July 5th, 6 p.m. Eastern. I'm Not Gonna Hold You. Me, Mikey, Bang, and Dante and Courtney, man. So anything y'all want to say before we wrap this up, man?
Negative, my nigga. My food is ready. I'm about to go scoop that. It's been an amazing season. We was, like I said, I don't have no off day, so we gonna record tomorrow. Well, not tomorrow. We're recording Sunday.
We recording on Monday. We doing an Entourage pod on Monday, then Game of Thrones on Tuesday. So
okay.
We gotta figure out for the hot corner.
But I have open availability next week, so we should be able.
It's Courtney. We gotta really see what her schedule's like. But shit, I'm chilling with my family. I'm about to get out of my mom's freaky ass room right now. I feel like I'm in a episode of True Blood. I'm in a dungeon somewhere, but I'm in the red light district and shit. But it's all good, man.
I gotta give a salute to you too, Mikey, because a lot of people don't know you didn't pod that much. You didn't do that much before this show. You fit just like a glove, man. You've been very entertaining. The fans have enjoyed it. More importantly, I want to thank y'all who watch. because y'all don't have to watch. You know what I'm saying? Y'all could, y'all don't have to watch what we do. Y'all tune in. Y'all be engaging with us. Y'all get the running jokes. We appreciate y'all in this journey to make this show eventually what we all believe that it will be, and we can't do that without y'all support, man. So I'm like Dante. I'm hungry, and I've been talking for almost 3.5 hours. So y'all can follow me on all social media platforms at Barberchair Scott. You can follow the Barberchair Network on all social media platforms at Barberchair Net. Follow our partners, HMB Media at HMB Media TV on Twitter and at HMB Media on Instagram. And of course, we can't forget getting to with our sponsors, Pillars Club. Shout out to all my guys over there, Mike, Duke, Sid, everybody. Dre, everybody over there, Pillars holding it down, man. You can go to pillarsclub.co. You can go to the Instagram Pillars_club, or even better, you can go to any of their 3 store locations in the Chicagoland area. There's one over there on the West Loop on 1167 West Madison Street. There's one over there in Chicago Ridge Mall, and also visit the very new Pillar store over in Orland Square in the Orland Park Mall, man. Go over there, holler at our guys. Tell them that I'm not going to hold you, sent you. They might hook you up over there, man. So that is all we got. You can follow Dante at October's on Tail on Twitter. Don't follow him on Instagram. He will follow you. And y'all follow Mikey on Instagram. On Twitter at Junior_Solito. Y'all enjoy y'all weekend. We'll holler at y'all in 2 weeks on July 5th. We up out of here.